NPL Victoria Grand Final presented by Senol. Avondale FC versus South Melbourne FC. My name is Josh Parrish. I'm joined by a Doherty Cup final winning head coach, a championship winning head coach, and more recently winning promotion to the top flight with Dandenong City, Nick Tolios. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us, Josh. What a special day, what an amazing occasion, and the weather's held out for us, which is more important.
And I've got journalist, broadcaster, co-host of the NPL Victoria podcast, Nick Tabano, here with me as well. Nick, what a day for it.
Oh, it's absolutely brilliant. I mean, much different to last year with all the torrential downpour. Obviously the same venue. It's also looking like it's going to be a great turnout as well for what should be a cracking game. Two teams deserving of being here, the top two sides. At the end of the regular season, they booked their place with some dramatic wins last week, but it's all set for a big one today.
The weather is glorious. The pitch is looking better than ever. And the souvlaki's aren't too bad either. I sampled one pre-game. Tulsi, have you ever seen Olympic Village look like this? What a deck.
No, I haven't actually, to be honest. Thank God for the World Cup, and we had the, I think the Canadian team played out of here, but look, it's in unbelievable condition. Like we said before, the weather's looking great, so yeah, expecting a really good final.
Yeah, well, we'll jump straight into the team sheets, and for Avondale, it is unchanged from the semi-final victory over the Melbourne Knights, except for one change coming in on the bench. They have not named a backup goalkeeper, a very bold move from Zoran Markovski. George Ott comes in on the bench he's coming back from under 23 duty with New Zealand, so plenty of attacking options back there, Tulsi.
Yeah, look, I think we were all in shock when we saw the team sheet come out without a second goalkeeper, but look, Zoki knows what he's doing. He's been here before. Look, he's confident in his team, and hopefully, touch wood, nothing goes wrong with Manos. But I'm sure he's got a backup plan and knows someone in that team that can take the gloves if needed. But look, he wanted to go with an extra player just to give him that versatility in the forward line.
Well, the top scoring forward in NPL Victoria of all time is Liam Boland, and he starts on the bench today. What a player to bring on, Nick.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it is one hell of a player to have ready to go on the bench in Liam Boland, but also as well George Ott, having two strikers of that calibre just ready to go at the willing. When they are chasing the game, they do need to get that extra goal. Not many teams are blessed with having two players of that calibre just ready to go and ready to come on. So I'm sure we'll see them at some point today. They'll be hoping for their sake they're not chasing the game. It's more to maybe shore things up. But, what a great option for Zoran Markovski to have today.
Yusuf Ahmed is the preferred option up front, Tulsi. Not really a traditional number 9.
No, he's not, but I think his mobility is going to cause South some problems. He's good at getting in behind, but he's also good at dropping in deep and trying to pick up that ball as a number 10. He'll drift out wide as well, where he's comfortable and natural. Look, I think his mobility and just having people like Christian Trudreski behind him making those third-man runs, I think Zoki's trying to get the two centre-halves out of position and suck them out a little bit, and it's going to be a good test for him.
Well, you've got something in common with one of the players on Avondale's bench, Tulsi.
We'd like to once again send a big thank you to our sponsors,
mid-season.
Chanel.
Yite Towns has been off for 2 months. Has only just come back just before the last game of the season, trying to get himself fit for this one. Maybe 20 minutes of Yite Towns off the bench, a welcome inclusion.
Oh, look, Yite Towns is a quality player. We all know that. He's one of the best sixers in the competition. And, again, having another weapon like Yite Towns to come off the bench and put the game to bed, or even when they're chasing it, if they are going to be chasing it, look, both teams have got benches that they can go and turn to, which is fantastic. And look, I think it's going to go down to the wire today.
Well, Debano, there is one out for South Melbourne, and it is a whopper. Ajak Riak is off on international duty with South Sudan and couldn't make it back in time for the game. So Josh Wallen comes in off the bench. Not a like-for-like change.
Yeah, absolutely. Going for maybe potentially a little bit more control in midfield, but it does kind of feel a bit like deja vu here. I mean, we remember last year, obviously, he left a lot earlier, but Harrison Sawyer wasn't there, and Davs had to turn to Jyingham in the end, leading the line, and Andy Brennan was also missing through injury, who actually leads the line today. He's only scored the one goal this season, but offers something a little bit different. That's a massive loss because, he's led the league in, I think it's Jules 1 this season. So, with the long throw play that we know South Melbourne like to go through with Max Mikler launching those balls into the area, not having someone like Ajak Riak in there to win those balls down, knock them down to the players sort of buzzing in around him, or even for himself to go and score one himself. It's going to be a fascinating watch. I think the Avondale defence might be breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief not seeing Ajak Riak on that team sheet today.
Tulsi, you coached Ajak last season at Bentley. What are South missing, and what's the equation for Esteban Quintas? Why is he gone with Josh Wallen as the replacement?
I think, we'll start with the first question. I think what AJ brings is that versatility and that awkwardness up front. He's got pace. He's really good in the air. He's not scared to work hard, and at times the way South press at times as well. He does a lot of work for them. So it is going to be a different dynamic. Again, Andy Brennan, we believe he's going to be playing centrally. Experience, he's been here before, he's played in finals. I just think he's going to be a different presence to what Avondale are used to, but again, that is a big loss for South Melbourne, especially the way they go direct and like to get him on the ball. But on the other hand, Joshua Wall, I think, comes into the midfield with his mobility to be able to try and counter what Avondale are good at, and their ball movement, their rotations. They're so good off the ball for each other, and I think that's something that Esteban's try to make sure he can cement with him and Lengua in the midfield. I think it's going to be a great battle in the middle, that's for sure.
Well, let's talk about some of the key matchups to watch today. And we had perhaps a surprise winner of the gold medal this season. You don't often see it go to a centre-back, but Jake Marshall of South Melbourne came out on top by 1 vote over Stefan Zinni of Avondale. Tolsey, he's got a bit of a point to prove today, Zinni?
Oh, I think he's definitely going to be a little bit disappointed not winning it, but he's had a fantastic season. You know, prior to that, he's had a fair few injuries, and to see him playing consistent football again, you can see what he can do when he's got that confidence and that match fitness under his belt. But look, Jakey Marshall's been solid for South Melbourne. You can see the way they defend with him and Marko Jankovic in the back line. So it will be a test. It'll be one of the best defenders in the competition, obviously player of the year, and then versus a couple of attacking players like Christian and Zinni. That, yeah, it's going to be a point to prove, I reckon.
Well, Stefan Zinni's best season, 13 goals this year. He's absolutely torn it up. Nick, how has he won it over? How's Jake Marshall won this over Zinni? I mean, he's had an absurd season statistically. Can you take me through some of the big numbers?
Well, I think the one that always stands off the play, and we were talking about it off air, is the fact that he's so low in sort of that disciplinary record. Like, I don't think he's got a single yellow card this year. Compared to, you know, Marko Jankovic and Brad Norton and Benji, but he's the one that's been able to, I guess, sort of, you know, stay in check, but also he leads the league in clearances as well. He's been brilliant in sort of just mopping things up and keeping things tight in defence. He doesn't do all the glamorous stuff, but I think that the referees do notice it a lot more. And sometimes, look, seeing a centre-back win what is usually an attacker's or a midfielder's award, it's good to see the defenders get some love for a change. But the fascinating thing in terms of this matchup, when you compare and contrast the two defenders, one of the stats I saw pre-game which really just burst off the page was seeing Jake Marshall leading in clearances, but then you look at the Avondale defenders all ranking above 90% in pass accuracy in the way they like to play out. If that sort of sums up the sort of two different, I think that actually sums up perfectly the two different styles when you see Zoran Markovski's side looking to play a little bit more out from the back, and then you've got, of course, you know, the sort of Route 1 sort of style that South Melbourne play, no nonsense in defence. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how both defences lined up today.
I want to highlight Christian Trzeski as well. You mentioned him before, Tolsey, one of the creative fulcrums of the competition, 10 assists this year, and he was the player missing when Avondale went down to South Melbourne 3-0 at Lakeside. He was suspended for that game, so you see his importance by his absence.
Look, I think his positioning, his runs off the ball, getting in between the lines is one thing that Christian does really well. He can drop deep and he can hurt you from deep. He can get in behind and play as a second striker. So, look, his ability to get on the ball and create something with Joey Katavian sitting a little bit deeper is going to be interesting. And, look, to bring in Georgie Mells in the window as well, what another unbelievable midfielder they've got. So, again, it's going to be a big clash in the middle. It just depends on how much the ball's going to be there, unless South Melbourne keep going direct. So that's where it's going to be the biggest key. Avondale getting down and playing their football.
Score a few goals as well, as you're seeing on the highlight reel. Let's talk about some of the previous meetings this season. We mentioned round 12, 3-0 at Lakeside. It was an incredible result. Nick, what are your memories of that game, Devon?
Well, I mean, you mentioned it, no Christian Trzeski, and it's no surprise that that's the only loss that Avondale have had in something like 27 or 28 games. It's an incredible statistic. You know, the fact that, you know, South Melbourne were just able to take control of that game, and the one man who is missing today took over in said contest, Najak Riak. So it goes to show just how important he was on that day. So, you know, talking about the one player's come back from Avondale, didn't play that game, who is so key to the way that they play, but then conversely looking at how important he was in that game back in round 12. So, yeah, that's certainly going to be one to watch when you see how things have changed from that meeting at Lakeside.
Well, it was the Ajak Riak show in round 12. In round 25, much tighter contest. We saw a big impact from Liston Diaz off the bench, scoring what proved to be the sealer with a late consolation for Luka Ninkovic. Talk about a clash of styles, Tolsey. These teams couldn't be more different in the way they go about things.
100%, Joshy. Look, Esteban's got a playing style that works, and he's got the cattle that can do it. Look, they do play for the second ball, and the way they set themselves up, especially going direct and having players and numbers dropping in to try and win it, is key for them. But then on the flip side, looking the way Avondale play, they've just got to try and keep to their game in order to be able to move South around and not get them a chance to play that direct long ball. But I think, look, we'll see a lot of Avondale with the ball. It's just key moments, I reckon, is going to be important. They don't switch off, especially at set pieces, with obviously the weapon that Mikkela's got as well.
Well, talk to me about that, Tolsey, because this might be the first time people are tuning into this competition. When Max Mikkela lines up for a throw-in, I mean, what goes through the defensive team's mind?
You pretty much set up like a corner. You've got to be prepared. South get players forward. They make it hard. You're at the bottom, the drop of the ball every single time as well. He just puts it in a dangerous area where it's in that half zone where the keeper can or can't come out for it, which causes a lot of pressure on the teams, and especially if you don't clear it. You see what happened last week with Oakley.
Think Rory Delap and Stoke City back in the day. If you haven't seen Max Mikkela take a throw in, it is a weapon. And Jack Painter-Andrews can do it too. Mikkela was on the bench. Painter-Andrews took the long throw in the semi-final, and it ended up with that winning goal for Marcus Strohan. And talking of that semi-final, beating Oakley, Devano, a huge, I guess, mental victory for South Melbourne, considering what happened right here last year in the decider.
Is it kind of ghosts of 2022 past for South Melbourne in a way, beating Oakley last week and now coming back to that venue where they obviously had that 5-0 loss here and trying to exact a little bit of revenge and getting that one sort of off their back. They've actually lost their last 3 games here at Olympic Village by an aggregate score of 9-2. So they've had a bit of a bad run here as of late. But yeah, getting that mental edge over Oakley is massive. They beat them during the season, but beating them in a final, it just carries so much extra weight, of course, in terms of getting to a grand final, but from that mental sort of standpoint as well, considering Oakley have sort of, in recent times started to buck the trend of, sort of falling to bits in big games, as we've seen in the past. They've actually been able to sort of steady in those ones, so getting the win, so important for them going into this one.
And Avondale have their own ghosts to banish as well, losing grand finalists in 2018 to Heidelberg and 2019 on penalties. Tolsey, you're on the sideline for that one as the newly named Bentley Greens coach for the last couple of games of the season. Can you tell me about your memories of that dramatic night at Amy Park?
Oh, look, it was, again, another grand final with a lot of rain and the weather didn't hold out. And, look, we're at Amy Park. Look, Avondale was super that day. And, look, we held on at times. And, look, Ryan Scott in goals on the day and the penalty shootout played a big role. And, yeah, it was sort of a whirlwind for me. 2 weeks and 2 weeks before that, we got relegated. So, look, yeah.
Gentlemen, before I let you go, I'm going to have to trouble you for a prediction. Devano first. Who's taking the chocolates today? Who's going to be the 2023 NPL Victoria champion?
We're going the distance today. It's going to be like 2019 again. We're going to the distance. I reckon it's going to be a penalty shootout. I reckon Avondale edge this on penalties. I reckon they finally lift up the NPL championship, but it's going to be an incredible game.
You're leaning one way or another, Tolsey?
But look, I think Avondale has just been super strong, and I think they've got that hunger to try and get something. They've been so close so many times, so I think this is a year they break the duck.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see. Kick-off coming right up here at Olympic Village. Avondale versus South Melbourne. Stay with us for the title decider in NPL Victoria.
Number 23, Christian Jajeski. Number 33, Joey Katavian. Number 68. Jack Painter-Andrews. Number 2, Leroy Malvazi. Number 12, Jakob Mustafa. Number 15, Luka Nikovic. Number 19, Alan Webb. Number 20, Willem Lejeune. Number 21, Ali Solmani. Here they come. Please welcome Avondale SC
The stage is set. Olympic Village is the venue, the championship on the line. But for these two sides, that trophy means more than just glory, it means redemption. South Melbourne and Esteban Quintas returned to the site of their 5-0 grand final capitulation last year, hoping to banish the memory of that painful evening in the driving rain. Their foes that night already lay slain in their wake, but looming in front of them today resides an even more formidable opponent, the Avengers, the record breakers. No side has amassed more points or scored more goals over the course of an NPL Victoria season than Avondale in 2023. But facts and figures will matter little if Zoran Markovski's men cannot finally put an end to the club's championship drought. Twice they've come up short in the decider. Today, a chance to right those wrongs. But first, we pause for the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2023 NPL Victoria Grand Final presented by Senol. It's South Melbourne versus Avondale. South Melbourne, led out by captain Brad Norton in his 301st game, make one change from the side that defeated Oakley 2-1 in last week's semi-final at Lakeside. They are shorn of the services of star striker Ajak Riak, who put Avondale to the sword back in round 12 as he's on international duty with South Sudan. In comes Josh Wallen with Marcus Schroen moving into a number 10 position, and we believe Andy Brennan will start up front. And we've been a bit rocked by the Avondale starting lineup, Nick Tolios, because a lot of changes that were not mentioned on the team sheet.
No, correct. Look, it looks like...
Looks like we've got two Ricabene brothers in the starting lineup, which we were not expecting.
And Liam Boland as well.
Liam Boland coming into start as well. Extraordinary that those changes were not reflected in the team sheet. Maybe late changes in the warm-up, maybe a little bit of last-minute subterfuge from Zoran Markovski.
Yeah, it looks like Dylan Jakupi's not also there as well. So, again, I'm not sure. Well, hang on, one of the Rickabeens just went inside the tunnel. So I think they've thrown us completely. He came out, walked out with the team. Maybe it is their last game for the club. Maybe they just wanted to walk out with the team. So, yes, it did throw us a little bit. But, look, I think we're set. And, you know, you can hear the South Melbourne faithful already starting to chant. So it should be a cracker.
Well, Avondale throwing a spanner in the works with maybe a bit of pre-game sentiment, shall we say. But Aidan Bryce is the captain with Matt Reid in his long absence with injury continuing. They've partnered Bryce with Kalalu Kamara at the back. Yes, we do have Dylan Jakupi at right back. He's made a late entrance.
Okay, but we did see Boland come out, so he's gone back to the bench, and one of the Rickabeen boys has also gone. So
unconventional.
It is something different, but again, look, credit to Zocchi and his team. From all accounts, it is Liam Boland's last game for the club, and giving him an opportunity to walk out with the team. Yeah, it's fantastic that Zocchi allowed that to happen. So again, credit to him and his staff.
Well, I can say with certainty now, it is an unchanged lineup from the team that defeated Melbourne Knights last week. Tom Manos between the sticks, a back four of Dylan Jakupi, Aidan Bryce, Kalalu Kamara and James Ricabene. Joey Katabian, Christian Trzeski and George Mells are the midfield three. A front line of Xander Guy, Stefan Zinni and Yusuf Ahmed. Whereas for South Melbourne, it's Wallen in for Riak, partnering Andy Brennan up front. On the flanks, Max Mikula and Jack Painter-Andrews. Pat Langlois and Marcus Schroen join Josh Wallen in the midfield. Ben Jeeba, Jake Marshall, Marko Jankovic and the captain, Brad Norton, across the back four. And Javi Lopez between the sticks. The two-time reigning goalkeeper of the year. He's won that award back-to-back, was named on Tuesday night, has more saves and a higher save percentage than any goalkeeper in the competition. and they'll need him this afternoon. And we're away, South Melbourne in an all-white strip, kicking from right to left. Avondale finishing top of the table, able to play in their preferred all-blue today. And Hayden Bryce is up to win an early header, and it's an early throw-in chance for South Melbourne.
And again, just watching South Melbourne set up there, it looks like Painter Andrews on the left, Pat Langlois moved to the right, and Mikola almost as a second striker there with Andy Brennan. So we talked about this long throw. This is the first opportunity to really test out Avondale's defence and see how they've set themselves up for this set piece.
Mikola with a trademark long bomb into the area. Hayden Bryce saw it coming. Now Zinni trying to wriggle away on the break. Well defended by Painter Andrews to stop the counter-attack. He's a bit of a Swiss Army knife. Painter Andrews can play right back, right wing, just about anywhere you want him to. Well,
I remember signing him at Bentley as a right back, and then throughout the year he ended up playing further forward, and he's got an knack of finding the back of the net as well. So very versatile, like you said, and you shown a good change of pace there to keep up with Zinni.
Well, the Clarendon corner transplanted from their usual home at Lakeside on the Olympic Village steps today, making plenty of noise, and there's a very healthy turnout today. Crowd still streaming through the gates in the early moments here. Shrowen's header forward. Now Mikola sidesteps Kamara. Max Mikola out to Langlois on the right. His low-driven cross is blocked by Ricabene. As Andy Brennan drifting wide in support. Brennan. He was high and not so handsome from Andy Brennan.
Early signs there by South, really driving at the Avondale defence.
Well, Avondale are going to try and play out from the back no matter what. And South are pressing very high here, Tolsey.
They are. They're setting themselves up like we talked about before the game. Their mobility now with Joshua Wallen coming into the midfield to give Pat Langlois that second support has helped.
Jankovic with the header. Zinni. Ricabene. His pass is cut off by Wallen, but it falls kindly for the Avengers. Kamara for Mells. Norton. Hoofed forward by Brad Norton. And Kamara, well, he plays it safe, but how safe is it really?
Again, we talked about that throw Max Mikola's got. It's flat as well. That causes a lot of defence problems.
Is it to the point where you'd think about conceding a corner instead of a throw-in?
Potentially at times, because the way Max throws the ball, he can pinpoint where they want to sit, where they want to go. But you see the numbers around the ball already. They make it really hard to get that ball out of the back line.
Both centre-backs forward for this one, and it's Jankovic who rises. Brennan to the second ball. Sits nicely for Bryce to clear. South Melbourne with all the early pressure, which is perhaps not what we expected, but that's a good challenge from Zinni. And the loose ball drops to Christian Trzeski, who finds Xander Guy, who's past Brad Norton. Guy never got purchase on the effort. He wanted it on his left foot, tried to shape his body around the ball, but in the end, he's just toe-poked it into the breadbasket of Javi Lopez.
And again, good pressure there by Zinni, making sure Brad Norton made a decision. Bad clearance, Christian on the ball, and then they had numbers getting forward. You can see how quick they break. Avondale.
Oh, we've got Nick Dabano down on the sideline. We might get him to investigate what that pre-game ritual was all about with Avondale, sending out a couple of, well, a bench player and a player who's actually not on the team sheet and out with injury, out for the walkouts. Painter Andrews for Norton. Early ball into Mikola. Mikola on the spin. Took a while to set himself, and Aiden Bryce got in the way.
Good early pressure here by South. Norton making up the mistake early before with a big challenge on Xander Guy to be able to force that turnover high into their attacking half. And again, Bryce, he did extremely well there to close Max down, especially on his left foot. So again, South really piling the pressure on nice and early.
You do feel as if South Melbourne's most impressive performances this season have been some of their bolder ones when they've pressed higher up the park. They certainly did against Avondale in round 12 and a 3-0 win. Struck goalwards, and it's Jankovic and cleared off the line. Would you believe it?
Aiden Bryce to the rescue again.
Again, Aiden Bryce is positioning, but you can see how hard it is for Avondale to get the ball out of defence. South has set up really well, especially for that second repeat ball. So this is where Avondale have got to really put their foot on the ball and try and calm the game down a bit.
Marko Jankovic, almost at point-blank range. He beat Tom Manos. He couldn't beat Aiden Bryce. Krajewski is taken down late by Jankovic. He's down holding his knee, Christian Krajewski.
The Avondale bench wasn't happy, but again, it's grand final. Nobody's going to pull out, and Marco had to make that foul. So hopefully Christian's not hurt, but again, you can see Avondale dangerous in transition, but South Melbourne really making it hard for him to play. The pressure's been really good.
You can see on the replay there, Jankovic just leaving his trailing leg in there, just not letting Krajewski past. I'm going to go down to Nick DeBarno on the sideline. What have you got for us, Nick?
Yeah, very animated start down here from both coaches, especially after that challenge there from Marko Jankovic on Christian Krajewski. It was quite a nasty one in the end. I heard you guys mention about the pre-game walkout with Liam Boland. Haven't been able to get exactly to the bottom of it, but I do wonder if maybe that's a little bit of sentiment, given it is his final game for Avondale, maybe giving him the chance to walk out in the pitch with his teammates from the first whistle in the pre-game. But we'll certainly do a little bit of digging. But yeah, both coaches, especially here on this Avondale side, not quite pleased with that challenge there from Marko Jankovic. And we do remember what happened last year, guys. Of course, he was sent off for a challenge on Joe Knowles in the first half of that 5-0 loss. So, yeah, one to keep an eye on this one.
Jankovic escaping without a booking. He's been yellow carded 6 times this season, and he's been sent off as well. So not the squeaky clean disciplinary record of his central defensive partner, Jake Marshall.
I think this stoppage is actually going to suit Avondale a little bit. Let them settle, let them get on the ball. Really, South has started really strongly in the first 6 or 7 minutes, so it's a big test here at the set piece, see how they go.
Krajewski still waiting to be let back on the field, and Avondale temporarily down to 10. It's a deep cross from Mells. Bryce with the looping header, and that's a great save from Javi Lopez. His first significant stop of the match.
Bryce is at both ends, saves one off the line and almost scores the opener. So great start for him and great save by Xavi Lopez there. Ball looping over the top there, so great little finger.
With a trailing arm too, Javi Lopez, that is an impressive save. And as he said, Aiden Bryce has been huge so far. Literally.
He's definitely up for it.
We're going to have an in-swinger from Ricabene now, and they've crowded the 6-yard box here, Avondale. Xander Guy's in there, ball doesn't reach him. Recycled by Mells, back out to James Ricabene. Mells thought about the early cross. Still they're going to switch the point of attack. Jakupi decides to go back wide to Mells. Tries to curl it round the corner for Xander Guy, who loops it over Lopez, and it drifts wide of the target.
Tell you what, that was a fantastic ball there by George Mells, and the run from Xander Guy from deep caught South Melbourne square, and Xavi got caught as well. Unlucky not to be able to score that. What a great ball and great attempt by Xander Guy.
Off his weaker right boot as well. That was imaginative.
Tell you what, it's exciting. Was it first 8 minutes? There's chances at both ends. Both teams are going at it. It's exactly what we want for a grand final.
It has been an absolutely breathless start to this one. Mikola's flick on. Ricabene is going to go back to Manos. It's a bit hot for the goalkeeper. And we're going to have a stoppage here. I think for a head knock. Tom Manos might feel a little bit aggrieved he didn't get a free kick for that after colliding with Langlois on the follow-through.
Oh, nothing in it. I like that from Paddy. Make sure everyone earns every kick today. It is a grand final, and Andy Brennan, again, I think was clashed of heads with Aiden Bryce, but nothing in there as well. It's just an accidental head clash. I think it's a drop ball there now as well.
Going to restart with a drop ball. I think Avondale will give possession back, I assume, or perhaps...
Well, it's a strange one because Avondale had the ball, kicked it out.
It's going to be an Avondale ball, in fact. I'll be hard-pressed to have a contested drop ball inside the box, I suppose. Difficult one for Adam Bavka to adjudicate.
Oh, he's done well. I think Adam's made the right decision there. Head clash, we can't allow that, because it could have been a lot more serious. So
welfare of the players coming first. That's what we want to see.
great work rate here by Andy Brennan.
He is tearing around the pitch. This forward pressure is suffocating from South Melbourne. Can Avondale play their way out? It's the league's best attack versus its best defence. And it's a very active defence today. Brad Norton stealing bases. Will be called back by the referees. He gets good distance on them too. Kamara with the header away. Mel's into the feet of Yusuf Ahmed, who's seen precious little of the ball. Now here's Trajescu, who's back on the pitch after that injury stoppage. He turns it over. Mikola will go from a long way out to Chip Manos, and it's onto the roof of the net. And Tom Manos was panicking for a moment there. He was scrambling back to his goal line.
Great attempt there by Max Mikola. They saw him off his line on his preferred left foot. Tell you what, that was closer than you see the replay here. Oh, fantastic effort. What a great start. And Joshy Wallen brought into the team because of Riak and winning the ball in the middle of the ground there with Christian Trajescu. So, again, South Melbourne really putting the squeeze in the midfield. We talked about it before the game. The midfield battle will be key.
Fantastic angle there from our sportscast camera behind the goal, seeing just how close that was. Maybe a metre in it. Max Mikola had Manos on skates there.
Great attempt. And there he's going the other way. Now he's going to go another attempt with a long throw.
He's a busy man out there today.
You see the setup now of South Melbourne waiting for that second ball to play. Make sure that it goes back into the mix. So they really do make it hard for you.
Mikola again. There's a flag up. Brad Norton to strike over the crossbar, but I think it's going to be a foul throw.
I think he stepped over the line. The flag went up as soon as that ball got played in, so I'm not sure if it's offside. It would be interesting to see what they've given here. Yeah, it has. Foul throw.
Well, that wouldn't have counted from Brad Norton. But imagine disallowing a Brad Norton goal. He hasn't scored since 2020. Possibly his last season, we're not sure. 301 appearances today in South Melbourne.
Fantastic career with South, and to see him in another grand final before the game coming out, looked like with his daughter as well. What a special occasion for him.
Well, it was certainly a special night last week at Lakeside in his 300th, the milestone game. He was chaired off. Fans stuck around well after kick-off to clap him off the pitch. Not many players reach that milestone. To crown it with a championship would be the ultimate dream. He was part of that team that won in 2016. Marcus Schroen, of course, the other surviving member of that side. 2 goals in that grand final, Schroen.
What was great to see as well, I don't know if you saw the photos, Paul Trimboli awarding him the trophy as well for his 300th appearance. You know, it's great to see someone like him back at the club. What a player he was.
Over the top for Trajescu.
Again, followed all the way by Joshy Wallen.
So much history, so many great names down the years have plied their trade for South Melbourne. And it's an opportunity for history today. They're on 10 Victorian League titles, level with Brunswick Juventus all time. Today would be their 11th. South Melbourne would stand alone as the most successful Victorian team ever. And Avondale, of course, nothing would be sweeter than their first.
Amazing history, South Melbourne, and again, like you said, it would be great to see Avondale win their first premiership or first title. What was interesting there in that passage was South didn't go direct. They tried to play out. Avondale sat off a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what Zocchi does to adjust if they are going to be playing out and giving them an opportunity to play from higher up.
It'd be a radical shift in style on grand final day. Mikola in again, straight to Manos this time. Fairly tame effort, maybe in two minds, knowing the assistant referee is watching his steps. Now Trajescu looking to spot Zinni on the break. It's 2v2 all of a sudden. Avondale charging forward. Zinni cuts inside. It's a rather aimless ball to the back stick in the end.
Gibber did extremely well there, getting isolated with Zinni 1v1's never easy. Someone that runs at you with pace, but South Melbourne midfield, how quick they were to get back and get numbers behind the ball, so credit to them.
Well, it might be Avondale's counter-attack that comes to the fore today, with South Melbourne sending so many defenders forward for set pieces.
It is, and you could see Manos, as soon as he won that ball, Christian was out, Zinni stayed high, Ahmed was up there as well with Xander Guy, so it's like he's obviously done his homework and knows he can hurt them in transition. So just got to be a little bit more clinical in that final third, or nut rush as well.
Yankovic with the long diag. Langlois to the far post. And that one's over the line for an Avondale goal kick.
Talk about versatility. Here's another one that's got a lot of different positions he's played this year for South Melbourne. A midfielder that scores goals. He's playing a little bit wider today.
Looks like they've got Max Mikula almost in a free role sometimes, with Painter Andrews actually playing as the left winger, and then Pat Langlois out wide on the right rather than in his usual holding midfield roles.
Correct.
It's a raking switch to find Zinni. It's deflected the cross. Avondale corner.
Again, Avondale want Zinni isolated 1v1 with Gibber, and Xander Guy did extremely well to find Christian in the middle of the park, and as soon as he got the ball, he spread it wide. So it'll be a good test for Gibber and Marshall. We talked about before the game. Very strong defensive unit, South Melbourne. So Zinni's got plenty of the ball. Hopefully he can come up with something for Zocchi and his team.
George Mells is entrusted with this corner. Kamara's in there, so Xander Guy. Punch from Lopez is good. Mikula with a little shove in the back from Zinni. Wanted a free kick. Whistle not forthcoming. You can hear Esteban Quintas dishing out the instructions on the touchline. He's never backwards about coming forwards with his coaching. I'm told he views football a bit like chess. He's got...
Very passionate.
Got a dossier on every player in the league. He's very thorough in his tactical preparation, Esteban Quintas.
And you have to be, especially at this level. You see the level of quality that we got on the park today. Being organised, being set up is important.
Might go down to Nick DeBarno in a moment for a sense of the mood down there on the touchline. It's tight, it's tense at Olympic Village.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, it is. I tell you what, those first few minutes, the instructions were quite simple. You could hear it every single time Avondale had the ball in their defensive half. It was to press, it was to put the pressure on. They've sort of settled a little bit now, South Melbourne. I guess it was sort of to put them on the back foot, show them that they're here early and, you know, try and get on the front foot a little bit. But since then, the game has sort of settled into a little bit of a holding pattern, which I think is good for Avondale because, you know, in that sort of first little bit, they were looking a little bit, potentially a little bit nervous in those first few moments. And as you can see, every time they get in possession as well, is a very, very strong South Melbourne crowd that are letting them know they're here as well. So it's a bit of the extra 12th man in the crowd too. So, yeah, a fascinating one so far, but very much so the South Melbourne bench, very animated, but quite quiet over there on my right to the Avondale bench as well.
Thanks, Nick.
Yankovic is down. He got up a little bit groggy there. He came to clash with Xander Guy. Nothing malice, just awkward landing.
Another in-swinger. It's the left-back Ricabene forward again to take. Lopez off his line to punch. Over Yankovic. He's looking a little ginger. He's holding his left wrist there. Guy up for the header across goal. No one to meet it from an Avondale perspective. And Brad Norton able to clear their lines. Jakupi. Brennan pressing high again. For those two front players for South Melbourne, it's a huge workload to get through.
It is. You can see that Esteban was making sure they forced them back. Avondale were good enough to try and play out of that little press.
Guy, can he keep it in? He has done.
Game started to settle a little bit now as well. You can see Avondale getting on top.
It's Jakupi over there with the throw. Ahmed couldn't keep it in play. Knocked slightly off balance by Brad Norton.
Joshy, before the game you got Nick and myself to predict. You got away with it.
I did, didn't I?
Yes. What are you thinking?
Well, having seen the opening here, it's rocked me a little bit because I was thinking without our Jack Riak, it's an uphill battle for South Melbourne. But they do have the best goalkeeper in the league. They have the best defence in the league. And if they're pressing as proactively as they have, it sort of changes the equation for me. I was expecting them to be a little bit more conservative today and Avondale having more time on the ball to build, but they've gone in with a more active game plan to disrupt the Avengers. So much quality in this Avondale attack though. Xander Guy off the right boot, it's off the crossbar! Well, whether he meant it, I'm not sure. But Xander Guy has come inches away from an opening goal twice in the first 20 minutes here.
Benefit of the doubt, I think that was a cross, but again, Xavi Lopez getting caught. Xander Guy has had some joy here on the right-hand side for Avondale, but again, given time and space, Xander Guy can hurt you, but closest we've come.
Well, I think I'll stick with my initial thoughts, Tolsey. I think I'm going for a 2-1 Avondale win, but gee, it's sitting on a knife edge at the moment, isn't it?
It is. Both teams had great chances. Obviously, the one off the line there for South Melbourne, and Xander Guy's cross-come shot and their little chip earlier. So, great ball there by Katabian. Brilliant pass.
On a dime from Joey Katabian for Stefan Zinni, who can't find a way past Ben Jeeba there. Again, great one-on-one defending from the South Melbourne junior, one of their own, Ben Jeeba, elevated into the senior ranks in 2018 and hasn't looked back. And great for him to actually see the pitch in the grand final after he was injured in the semi last year, had his leg broken against Green Gully. Now we've got an injury problem here for Lopez.
Well,
and that could be a sickening blow.
Knowing Xavi, he's not one to stay down. He's a player that takes pride in what he does. He's a true professional, and it'll be a shame to see him go down with an injury so early in the grand final, but hopefully he's fine. But again, touching base on Jibbo, that horrific injury last year, you know, good to see him back and having an opportunity back in the grand final. It looks like it could be his hamstring there for Lopez, getting some treatment on it.
Willem Lejeune is the backup goalkeeper.
Just trying to have a look on the bench to see if he's actually starting to warm up, just in case, but
I believe Lopez has played every game this season, or just about. Did you overlap with him at the Bentley Greens, Tolsey?
We initially brought him in.
Yep.
So, look, like I said, true professional, someone that takes pride in everything he does, pre-match, you know, recovery. It's something that he's really good at. So to see him go down, like I said, it takes a lot for him to get injured. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he's fine. But
well, let's get some intel. Let's go down to Nick DeBano on the sideline. What's the activity looking like on the south bench, Nick? Are we going to see an early goalkeeper change?
Well, Will Lejeune is up. He's put the shin pads on as well. Hasn't donned the gloves just yet and hasn't started to go through any sort of run-throughs at the moment. And he hasn't gotten full instruction from Esteban to, you know, start getting ready. But he is standing. He was standing right at the edge of the technical area, kind of just watching on. But it does look like that Harvey Lopez is going to be good to continue. So I guess, you know, potentially danger averted there for South Melbourne, and good to see that Harvey will be good to continue. But yeah, a little bit of a scare through that South Melbourne bench.
We can see on our cutaway here, shin pads coming off. Are they going on? Looks like he's sitting back down, Will Lejeune, so he's got to be ready to go. Yankovic with the long ball out. He's looking for Brennan, but it's an easy pick up for Manos.
that's where South got to be better. That straight long ball, Avondale lead up all day. They need to play those diagonals where it's been working for them so early in the game. So be interesting to see Lopez with the goal kicks now, whether he's going to be taking or Marshall. I think Marshall set up there just before, so will Zocchi change and force him to go long?
Esteban Quintas very animated, prowling the touchline. Half an eye on Lopez here, who looks to be walking a little gingerly. He's not moving that well. But they want to keep him on the park at all costs.
Yeah, I've just been watching Jankovic as well after that clash with Xander Guy. Another strong lad. He's been around this league now for several years.
Scored for you in a penalty shootout grand final win back in 2019.
Yeah, that he did. Very composed penalty taker as well. He's had a fantastic career at South since he moved across from Bentley.
You don't often see central defenders taking penalties in regular play. Sometimes they step up in shootouts, but he has been the nominated penalty taker for South in the past.
He has, and he's done extremely well as well.
But it's Max Mikula these days, who is inches away from being played through there. Now Avondale come the other way. Trzeski out to Zinni, who'll go 1v1 again against Jeeba. And gets the better of him too, but the cross is into no man's land. No Avondale player attacking that space. South Melbourne wanted a free kick. Advantage might break their way anyway. Brennan trying to outpace Kamara here. Andy Brennan, great ball into Mikula, the acrobatics. Max Mikula, so close to a spectacular opening goal. He's nearly chipped Tom Manos from 30 metres, and now he's brought out the bicycle.
Credit to Adam Bafka for letting that go. He could have easily pulled it up for a handball in the middle of the ground, and then Andy Brennan, you called it, had the advantage. Beat his man, great cross in, and Max Mikula, great attempt. Another one that's playing in that different role. We talked about Andy Brennan and him having a free role, getting himself wide, and great ball in.
There's so many hard-working players in this South team, so many big game players as well. Max Mikula is the one with a little bit of magic in his boots.
Oh, he does. Most left footers do, though, don't they, Josh?
Different breed. Here's a left footer for Avondale. Xander Guy, what can he fashion? Oh, Xander Guy! That is magnificent! Avondale hit the front. Pick that one out. You won't see a better goal in a grand final than that one. Xander Guy.
He's come the closest all game, and what a way to score. Getting himself first time isolated versus Brad Norton. Shift the ball on the inside on his favoured left foot, and Xavi Lopez had no chance. That it was goal bound as soon as it left his foot. What a great strike, and what a way to start the grand final. Did he enjoy that? You can
Absolutely see, raucous scenes of celebration.
Oh, what a great finish, and look at the reaction on the bench. Fantastic. Early goal in the grand final.
Javi Lopez stood helpless watching it. He's gone down injured a moment earlier, but I even think a full fit Lopez was not saving that one.
Oh, that looked goal bound as soon as he left his foot. We're in a great position here, and credit to the camera work as well, getting those angles. What a great strike was Xander Guy, but hit the crossbar not long before and had a little chip with his right foot, but on his left foot, like he said, his preferred foot. What a great strike.
Now, glum faces among those South Melbourne supporters. They don't want to see a repeat of last year. I'm sure those painful memories are lingering.
It'll be interesting how Esteban addressed that, because, again, wasn't their best showing last year, but we got to credit Oakley. They had a fantastic season, and the way they played in that grand final. Now, again, Avondale got to hold out here. This is important. This is what South are good at, their set pieces. Avondale need to hold on. They've just scored. This will be really important. This is an important set piece.
It's Marcus Schroen over it. Langlois is always a danger when he gets free in the penalty area. Marshall too. Marshall was the closest, but 2 palms on it from Manos. Not the most confident goalkeeping we've seen, but
needed to come there. You saw Marshall lingering towards the back post. Probably not Marcus's best delivery, but again, another set piece will always cause teams trouble, especially South Melbourne with the tall timber they have.
Mikula over this one. Schroen at the front post. Jankovic and Marshall rising at the back. Kamara and Zinni combining to win that loose ball. It's back with Brad Norton. Jankovic. Marcus Schroen. Tom Manos makes himself big. And he's paid a price for it as well. And Avondale do not have a goalkeeper on the bench. And there are real worries now for Tom Manos.
He did not look good.
The way he went down there.
And the way the boys have got him at the moment, this doesn't look good for Manos. He did extremely well to come out and block that shot on, I think it was Marcus Schroen, but Manos has not moved. This is going to be concerning now for Zocchi and his team. We said it before the game, not having a goalkeeper on the bench.
Well, scratch who's playing between the sticks, Tozzy. I think we're more worried about the well-being of Tom Manos at the moment. I think he might have lost consciousness there. He's just collided with the knee of Kalalu Kamara there. We're going to go down to Nick Dabano on the sideline.
Yeah, some real glum looks here on the Avondale bench. The subs already up, heads in hands at the moment as well, and already Joey Katabi almost acting as the liaison at the moment to the bench at the moment to give him updates on Thomas Manos, but that did not look good at all. But no movement yet, no sort of intel as to who's going to come on. But as we said, guys, they don't have a backup goalkeeper. So the absolute worst case scenario, which, 1 in 100 that this sort of situation would happen, that's something they're going to have to mull over. And it does look like they're going to have to start deciding, because Zoran Markovski's pensive at the moment. He hasn't moved the muscle and hasn't started to, think about the inevitable of potentially having to sub Thomas Manos off. But yeah, anything comes sort of and we start seeing someone come and warm up, I'll let you guys know as soon as possible.
Well, he is sitting up now, which is great to see. Looks awake and he's talking to the physios, but just feel as if that kind of head injury, there's just no way you can continue.
Look, I think knowing the concussion protocol, if he did get knocked out, which by all accounts, looking at the footage, he didn't look good because he did clash a knee, or his head hit someone's knee. I'm hoping, like you said, Manos is okay. First and foremost, he's sitting upright, which is great for him and his family. But it's now the decision of the medical team that Zocchi's got to obviously take advice from, because it is something that's serious. If he's being knocked out, they've got to make a decision. But yeah, fingers crossed he's okay.
Well, it's just a horrible situation for everyone involved. Our thoughts with Tom Manos at the moment. No one wants to go off in a grand final. No one wants to be seriously injured on a football pitch. You just think for his well-being, might be best. Let's have another look at the goal from Xander Guy. What a marvellous effort it was. You do not hit them better than that, Tolsey.
What a great strike. Just, again, getting himself isolated 1v1 against Norton. Marcus came out to support him, but what a great finish.
That is absolutely top draw.
What a way to do it, especially in the grand final. What a great strike.
Oh, a little tidbit about Xander Guy. Funny parallel is off the pitch. He does a bit of work as a graphic designer, I know, and he used to design South Melbourne starting lineup graphics.
So he knows them really well.
I think he stepped away from that this year, but no conflict of interest here. A former member of the South Melbourne media team has scored against them in a grand final. Well, Tom Manos is back up.
What happens here, Joshy? Obviously, we're no medical experts.
No, and that's important to state. It looked bad to us, but we don't know whether Tom Manos lost consciousness or not. It could have just been a bad neck injury and he wanted to lie still. Well, we're back underway here. Real concerns for Avondale's goalkeeper, who's going to try and continue. Obviously being cleared by the Avondale medical staff. Kamara knocks it away. Well, they have the lead, but they've been absolutely rocked by that injury, and discussions continuing on the Avondale bench, because if they choose to replace him, they will have to put an outfielder between the sticks. They do not have their backup keeper in reserve. It's 6 outfield players on the bench today. And perhaps that gamble is proving costly.
This is going to be a big test for him now. Another goal mouth.
Mikola Doesn't quite get the distance that time. Sander Guy tries to avoid the corner, but Jake Marshall had done enough.
So Zocchi's got a very experienced medical team, experienced coaching staff. I'm sure they'll have the best interest of the player at hand as well.
Mickle up to the front post. Schroen doesn't quite make contact. Trzeski, better safe than sorry from Christian Trzeski. Well, for a side with the lead, we've had not the lion's share, but the edge in the scoring chances today. Avondale seem under siege at the moment, and this is a real mental battle for them, knowing that their goalkeeper is being knocked down. Might not be at his best.
He's got some good players in front of him though to protect him. Jakupi, Aidan Bryce, Sander Guy getting back and helping out that we saw just before. Kamara in the back.
Mikola spins Kamara. Mikola to the byline. It's been ushered over the byline, but it's good shepherding, good recovery from Kamara there.
Great recovery. Thought he got in behind him there. Mikola was complaining, but he's done well, the youngster. What a great season he has had as well. Next to Aidan Bryce. With Reed being out for most of the year, which is a shame.
Mikola off the short run-up. Fires for the back post. Aidan Bryce rising highest.
The numbers back post here, South.
Brennan. Loose ball spills to Painter Andrews. Not enough weight on the pass. And Benjiba knocks it into touch, with Stefan Zinni looming behind him. The quick throw-in's on here. Trzeski finds Stefan Zinni. South Melbourne retreating in numbers now. George Mells can't find a way past Josh Wallen. That's a well-timed challenge. South Melbourne could spring back the other way. Schroen, Norton. Langlois wants it to feet. And misses the run of Schroen. Didn't quite connect. Schroen busting a lung to get back. It's the goal scorer, Xander Guy, down the touchline. Was looking for Jakupi, couldn't squeeze it through a gap. Kamara up for the header. Now Katabian trying to calm this one down a little bit, get some sustained possession for Avondale. I think they need to make it a little bit less helter-skelter, Tolsey.
I think they do, and you can see Zocchi straight away, as soon as they won that ball back, just telling the guys to relax. There's one play you want. George Mells and Katabian, they know how to control tempo when they need to. And again, good call there by Zocchi, just telling him to slow it down. Playing to South's hands by making it a transition game.
South almost had the counter-attack there, but broke down from Marcus Schroen. See what Nick DeBano's got for us. Any change on the Avondale bench? Any chance we're going to see an outfielder between the sticks, or is Tom Manos going to see out the half?
Well, as you guys saw, the medical team were in deep conversations when Manos sort of got back up to his feet with the assistant coaches. And straight away, all 6 players, as you can see on that far side, are all up and warming up. But no sort of indication as to who it may be if Thomas Manos can continue. It seems like all indications are that he's good to go, which is a surprise given that, you know, a few seconds before that we thought that potentially the sub was coming. But no intel as to who that backup goalkeeper will be, other than all 6 are up, all 6 look like they're ready to go just in case they need to be called upon.
Well, you'd be taking one for the team, wouldn't you, if you decided to don the gloves as an outfielder?
Tell you what, you'd be excited coming on your first ever game as a goalkeeper in a grand final. So
looks like Tom Manos is moving a little bit better now and communicating with his back line, so we hope he's okay. We don't need that novelty.
No, well, it'll be interesting to see who do you think would be the best suited goalkeeper if that was the case. Boland's got a good size about him for a goalkeeper.
Does. I'm still going with Aidan Bryce. I just think he's got a rugby league background.
He's a utility.
He's from Newcastle. Feel like he's a multi-sport athlete. Maybe
Xander Guy
got some goalkeeping chops.
He looks like a goalkeeper at times, doesn't he? Look at him. He's definitely someone that wouldn't be scared to go in goals.
He's a big unit. Got the tattoos as well, bit of a skinhead intimidation factor. He was sporting hot pink hair until a couple of weeks ago, so...
goalkeepers are different, so he could be the guy. Pardon the pun.
Here we go. Andy Brennan for South Melbourne. It's come off his teammate.
Same teammate.
Well, Josh Wallen was trying to get out of the way, but pretty much helpless against that Andy Brennan strike. Frequent interchange of positions happening here in this South Melbourne midfield. And Andy Brennan's out to the right now. Langlois up front.
Credit to Esteban. He has mixed it up, losing that focal point, and their setup is so good, making it hard for Avondale at the moment to get out.
It's another good challenge, this time from Schroen. Back with 301 gamer. I'll just go with 300 gamer, it's a bit more elegant. Brad Norton, so much experience in a big game like this. Yankovic, Payne to Andrews.
Kamara done well again.
He's got good body position.
He's a strong boy as well. Good change of pace.
Yeah, good recovery speed. He's a useful weapon back there for Avondale's. Come across from South Australia. Stints in New South Wales with Apia and Sydney Olympic. He's even played over in Thailand professionally. He's had a journeyman career, but been quite the pickup for Zoran Markovski's men. Flicked on by Ahmed. Yankovic looks at skywards. Tracheski trying to bring it down with his first touch. It comes under fire immediately from Andy Brennan, who has worked his socks off today. Spinning, crossing straight to Manos. I'm just relieved for Tom Manos at the moment because he actually looks okay out there.
Yeah, he's good.
We were really worried about him, the way he went down.
Joey Katavian now doing it with his left foot as well.
He's got some passing radar, Joey Katavian. Now here comes the overlap. Dylan Jacoupy. Well, the drums are going, the flags are waving.
Good crowd even behind us on the hill either side of us.
Yeah, fabulous turnout today. The Sunday afternoon decider. Of course, I think Football Victoria were expecting even bigger if Melbourne Knights had made the grand final. Could you imagine? Derby decider.
Oh, would have been.
Do you think that these are probably the two best teams this season, though, Tolsey?
Yeah, look, you can see the way they finished 1 and 2 in the league. Exceptional season. Avondale scoring so many goals, and again, South Melbourne doing what they did last year. Really hard team to beat. Esteban has done an extremely good job with them the last couple of years, so I don't think many would disagree.
Tracheski, good challenge on Josh Wallen.
Again, Gibber. He's done everything right.
Really can't criticise that performance. Zinni just shoving him over, and now it might... well over now. Zinni with a little petulant shove on Ben Gibber, and the South Melbourne right back was not happy about it. Right in front of the South Melbourne fans as well. I think we're going to see a yellow card come out.
I don't think there was much in it, but didn't need to do it. I think he's just frustrated at the moment, Zinni. Gibber's made it hard for him, but I'm not sure if Adams booked him. I think he's just given a warning.
No, the yellow card did come out.
Yeah, there you go.
Saw the flash of yellow from Adam Bavka and Stefan Zinni into the book. I think you have to take some action as a referee if someone's just, you know,
yeah, look,
started something, you know, when the ball's not even in play.
Yeah, and didn't need to do it. He's won the throw-in, move on.
I tell you what, I've got some intel coming in. Tolsey, from a former teammate of Aidan Bryce's at Melbourne Knights. Jordan Gifkins was the second choice keeper there, and he says, Brycey fancies himself in goal. Donned the gloves at training a few times, reckon it's light work. So there you go. My hunch was correct.
Well, I can tell you he thinks golf's light work as well. Brycey doesn't mind playing golf, and he thinks he's a bit of a golfer, so man of all trades.
Well, we've seen 8 minutes go up on the fourth officials board. Might get Nick DeBono to chime in with any observations as we get into the tail end of this first half.
Yeah, quite a frustrated South Melbourne bench after that little coming together there between Stefan Zini and Ben Jeeba. Wanted possession, wanted a little bit more there from the fourth official, but the fourth official just having none of it in those few moments. But yeah, no surprise for the 8 minutes of added time, given the lengthy stoppage for Thomas Manos' injury, and as well a few others sort of coming together. We had Harvey Lopez as well go down with an injury and whatnot. So yeah, again, the South Melbourne bench though, to my left, guys, there a little bit of frustration seeping in, I think, with a few of the decisions. Because I think that as we get closer towards half-time, potentially a little bit of fatigue, a few sort of challenges, a few stray challenges as well, just to try and, see things out until the end of this first half. But yeah, it's going to be a fascinating team talk for both teams, I reckon.
Well, we've just about had everything.
I think Zocchi, one thing that he likes to do is probably going to mix, well, he's done it. I was going to say mix Zinni and Guy. Xander Guy have swapped positions.
Maybe just gives Zinni a different look at a different defender.
Correct.
And
yeah, I think he has.
Ben Jeeba was largely getting the better of him in that one-on-one. He got past him once. Maybe just diffuse that situation as well.
I think so, yeah. Just got a little bit frustrated, but knowing Zinni, he's not going to give up this game. He's going to fight till the end, and someone with so much ability, we know, finishing second in the gold medal night. He's had a fantastic year, and I'm sure he'll fight until he's no longer required, so hopefully keeps his head.
Jeeba. Trajewski putting one into space. Lopez.
Sharvey moved well there.
Oh, he hasn't been too involved in the last 20 minutes or so. Called upon to make one fabulous save from Aidan Bryce earlier in the contest. It's been mercifully quiet for Xavi Lopez. Especially since we were worried about him first before the Manos head knock. Struggling with what looked like a hamstring problem. Both goalkeepers a little bit hampered today. Couldn't ask for much more drama in the first half of the grand final, Tolsey.
Especially when we were talking about it pre-match, that going into a grand final with only one goalkeeper and then both goalkeepers going down. So
incredible. Mel's.
Oh, good run there.
Lovely little dink from Xander Guy, and Ricabene arriving on the follow-up. The overlap, I should say. Norton battling for it. Trajewski will settle for a throw for the Avengers on this right-hand side. They've had 3 or 4 crosses hit the back post and no one attacking it.
Yeah, they've gone in a little bit early. I think Zocchi will probably have a word to the guys. Hold your run a little bit earlier, because the delivery's been good.
Another one of those trademark clearances from Jake Marshall. #1 in the stat pack this season among defenders, or among any players in the competition, for clearing the ball.
No nonsense. Does his job. Plays everything simple. Works hard.
And as Nick DeBono mentioned pre-game, 3 of the back 4 from Avondale, Bryce, Kamara and Ricabene, all hovering around 90% pass completion, the highest of any players in the competition. Here's Yusuf Ahmed. Feeds it through a gap. Stefan Zini. Oh, it's gone in! Stefan Zini has snuck it in at the far post! Avondale take a 2-0 lead deep into first half stoppage time. That one trickled across the goal line, but the slightest of touches was enough.
What a move there by Zocchi as well. Unbelievable move. Swapped sides, brought him on to this end, and again, credit to Bradley Norton. He was with him the whole way. I don't know how it snuck in. You see the replay here. Ahmed Yusuf getting to the ball. Great ball in. Well, tell you what. Definitely snuck in. I was just trying to see Xavi Lopez there on the replay. I don't think he expected that to go in, but you see the run.
The angle.
Look at the run. He's run at pace, and again, Norton's picked him up well. He's taken... Oh, wow. Well, I wonder if Xavi Lopez... Is he 100%? Because normally he'd eat that up. So...
Well, it trickled across the line in slow motion, Tolsey. I know it went in off the post, but Lopez, one of the more mobile keepers in the competition, you expect him to get to that.
No, correct. Well, look, we were slow to react as well. We didn't expect that to go in. We saw that
absolutely
Zinni came across, and Norton sort of blocked the shot. We thought that was going wide, but then, again, credit to Zinni. We were talking about it, saying that he hasn't had the greatest first half. He's been thereabouts, getting frustrated with Jibba. He comes across, he's made the switch, moved him across, and then he's gone and scored.
Let's go down to Nick Dabano on the sideline.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if you just saw that far side, but Xander Guy has just been clipped. He's coming back onto the field now, and he was caught by a stray pitch invader. He's been marshalled off the pitch, but during the celebrations, he got clipped. The guy's back on the field and looks all good. But yeah, just a little bit of an ugly scene out there, just being told. Got down here by the sort of one of the cameras down here who actually managed to catch it. But yes, Xander Guy just catching a little bit of a stray hand. So a little bit of a nasty incident on that far side, guys.
Well, that is not what we like to hear. We love fans getting involved in the contest, but staying behind the fence, thank you very much. South Melbourne supporters are over there in that corner. Avondale did celebrate the goal right next to them, but we hope Xander Guy's okay. There's absolutely no excuse for that.
No, especially if he did come onto the actual pitch himself. Look, I couldn't, again, we didn't see that. We were trying to watch the replay from the goal, but again, I hope the officials have dealt with him in the right way and moved him on, but definitely don't want to be seeing that. Been a great game. We don't want anything to change that. So, again, good to see Xander Guy back on the pitch.
Norton. On to Painter Andrews. Finds the feet of Mikola. Delivers early, hangs it up, looking for Brennan. Just a little too heavy. Brennan has carried it in field. Tried to reverse into Pat Langlois. Mel's blocked off the angle. Now Jiba. Great cross from Jiba. Langlois flicks it on. Big shout for handball. Schroen on the spin. Tame effort and an easy save for Manos.
Well, Adam Bafko was in the right position. You can see it. You see his positioning was spot on.
Well, I can't say I caught that handball or what they were shouting for, Tolsey, but perhaps we'll get a replay and take a closer look. It was a big appeal.
Great ball in by Jibba.
Trajewski.
Important here at South Melbourne. Keep their heads. They don't want to be conceding another one before half-time. At 2-0, they're still in it.
South Melbourne won the ball back there, but it was an absolutely filthy nutmeg from Yusuf Ahmed. Does have a bag of tricks on him. Well defended by Bryce. Now Wallen. And that will be half-time. What a dramatic first 45 and then some. Nearly 9 minutes of stoppage time played. And deep into time added on, it's Stefan Zinni who gets across Brad Norton. It's the merest of touches. And puts Avondale 2 goals to the good. We had a wonder goal from Xander Guy midway through the first half. That started things off. A really worrying head knock for Tom Manos. He's back up on his feet. He's decided to continue. Nick Tolios. What's the message from Esteban at halftime for South Melbourne? They're in a 2-0 hole and sinking quickly.
I think they're just going to start off the second half like they did in the first half. They've got to really come at Avondale now. They can't wait. It's a grand final. They've got to make something go. Look, I think he's got a lot to do at halftime, Esteban, to try and get this team up and about. But I think they've got enough cattle there to be able to make a change.
Well, they go into the sheds, 2 goals to the good. Avondale on their way to their first ever NPL Victoria title. Stay with us for our halftime show. The score at the break at Olympic Village in the 2023 NPL Victoria Grand Final, presented by Senol, is Avondale 2, South Melbourne 0.
Spectators must not enter or attempt to enter the field of play or playing arena without lawful authority. Any person who does not comply with the spectator code of behaviour or who otherwise cause a disturbance may be evicted from the venue and may be banned from attending future matches.
They take some photos and show us. I don't think they want this in the video.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is halftime at Olympic Village in the grand final decider. Avondale 2, South Melbourne 0 at the break. A stunning strike from Xander Guy, giving Avondale the lead before a late second from Stefan Zinni. Nick Devano, that one trickled in.
Oh, yeah, it did. It looked like it was sort of going to go all the way out for a goal kick. He was just waiting for it to hit the post and roll out, but it went in complete slow motion in the end. A 2-goal lead to the good for Avondale. This half has really had it all, because I don't feel like it's a 2-0 per se, but Avondale have just been clinical when the chances have come their way, and 2 really, really good finishes in the end.
Well, Tolsey, how did you see that first half? Does the scoreline actually reflect what we saw on the pitch?
Probably doesn't. I think, like we said, South Melbourne started really strongly. Constant pressure from set pieces, throw-ins. We know that they're going to bring that. And then, obviously, the best chance fell to, I think, Max Mikula or Marko Jankovic, where Brycey then saved off the line. And then, fast forward a couple of minutes later, Xander Guy mistimed cross, hits the crossbar, and then, again, we talked about the first strike. What an unbelievable finish from him, coming into his left foot. And, yeah, poor Xavi Lopez had no chance.
What about the scenes of panic on the Avondale bench when Tom Manos went down? His teammates looked shaken and really worried. No backup goalkeeper for Avondale, as we covered in the pre-game. And Nick Debano, I mean, that's the nightmare scenario for Zoran Markovski.
I mean, yeah, it felt like it was all playing out. Just that, maybe that lingering thought in the back of his head before the game, like, should I not? It just came to fruition, and maybe in that one moment was thinking, oh my God, I probably should have picked that backup goalkeeper. But in the end, it's good to see that he's been able to play, because when actually Stefan Zini scored, Thomas Manos came running all the way to the Avondale bench to go and celebrate, and the assistant coach was actually going, you all good? He's completely just wiped them off. Yeah, I'm all good. I'm good to continue. So good to see he's passed the relevant concussion test, because, you know, as we know with head knocks and the way that they are dealt at the moment in sport, you know, obviously they had to go through all the right tests, and I think at the end of the day it's good to see he's been able to continue and play, because he's such an important player just in general, even if they had a backup goalkeeper ready to go. So yeah, in the end, a little bit of a scary moment for Thomas Manos, but also for Javi Lopez as well, because it looks like he's dealing with something at the moment. Tolsey, you called it on the broadcast, saying for that second goal just looked a little bit laboured when he was coming down for that one.
Whether the deflection sort of confused him, or he thought maybe, like we did, that he was going to go wide, but he might have had a bit more spin than what we thought. But knowing what Xavi's like, his attributes is his agility to read the game, sweep, cover that goal line area. That 6-yard box especially is something that he's really, really good at. And again, credit to Zini. We were talking on air that he wasn't in the game, was getting frustrated, just got booked. But again, you see the experience of Zocchi switching sides, giving him an opportunity to have another take at it, and then getting on the score sheet. So,
I mean, it's been an extraordinary first half in so many ways. Marko Jankovic coming closest. I mean, South Melbourne were on the ropes in that first 10 minutes with the high press of South Melbourne.
Yeah, so look, Avondale found it hard. South Melbourne's setup was really good. They were winning the ball high up the pitch, which Esteban would want them to do, created those turnovers. But again, they stood up the defence at Avondale, and Manos was important in that moment as well. The couple of chances that they had, he came up big, stood strong, came out with a couple of crosses to relieve pressure, and then obviously getting that stray knee to the head. But again, it's good to see him back. We don't want to see anyone come off, you know, the grand final with an injury. And lucky for Zocchi, it wasn't his keeper. So,
well, Nick, Debano, I should say. We've got two Nicks on the broadcast today for maximum confusion. I mean, who's going to be the player for South Melbourne? Who do you turn to now? We've got some of the subs warming up behind us. Alan Webb, Yaqub Mustafa among the attacking changes available. Even a Luka Ninkovic, more of a physical battering ram up there. Who do you turn to first if you're Esteban Quintas?
They've got plenty of options, and they've also got Ali Soleimani as well. They have got players ready to go to come on to try and change this game. They obviously went with a bit of a different approach. You know, we kind of spoke about who will it be to replace Ajay Kurak. They went with more control in midfield. It sort of helped with that bit of a versatile approach, because obviously, as we spoke about, you know, that was almost just chopping and changing between Mikla and Langla, and even Painter Andrews as well, swapping sides. I think, honestly, the first couple of changes, I think Yaqub Mustafa, I mean, Tolsey, we saw last year in the Doherty Cup final, he's a game changer. He's someone who can come on and really cause an impact. I think, honestly, he's got to be someone you've got to look at to try and get a little bit of extra speed, and even someone as well like Alan Webb. He's got the experience too. I wouldn't be surprised if they're the two players to come on first.
He's got the experience, Webb. He's got the pace, as does Mustafa. Yaqub, with the way he runs at defences when he's got the ball, he's got that X factor that at the moment they might need to be able to get back into this game. But we know this scoreline 2-0. As a coaching staff, Zocchi now will be having his team focus, making sure they still do everything right, do the basic things right, don't take risks. They're not a team to go and waste time. I don't think but they're going to make sure that that game management is going to be super important. But one thing is that he won't do is stop playing, trying to get forward, because I think the hardest thing for them is to sit deeper and keep inviting that pressure from South Melbourne, because that's what they're good at. Getting numbers in the box, second ball, drop at the ball inside that penalty area, they're dangerous. So it'll be interesting to see. But look, Esteban's got a fair bit of work to do. But again, he's a quality coach, and he's got those weapons on the bench, and hopefully he can turn it around.
Well, that's interesting you say that, Tolsey, because if South Melbourne were in Avondale's position, they shut the game down, don't they? But Avondale have a pretty expansive philosophy. I mean, Debano, they don't stop attacking.
No, they're going to go for the kill. I want to put this one away as soon as possible. It's such a cliche saying of 2-0 being a dangerous lead, but it is. You get that goal, suddenly all the momentum starts coming and you're on the back foot. If you're Zoki Markovski and you're Avondale, you're going to try and get that third goal, maybe even a fourth. Really try and put this game away and make sure it's done. You don't want to give even South an inch, because even if it's only 5 minutes to go and you get it back to 2-1, things can change so quickly. And we've seen it a lot in NPL Victoria. We've seen it a lot in NPL 2 as well this year. You know, 2 goals can come very quickly. So, you know, it's going to be fascinating to see how both coaches approach this, but I do not see Avondale going back into their shells. I think they're going to want a third and they're going to put this game away.
We've spoken about personnel changes for South Melbourne. Tolsey, is there any tactical tweaks that you would make to what they've done? They've come out with a pretty proactive pressing plan, but they haven't got the rewards for it so far. Is it just, you know, a matter of time, a matter of luck?
I think they're going to keep pushing and keep pressing because it's worked for them. So if they weren't getting joy from the press early on, winning the ball high up the pitch, then you probably look at trying to change that up a little bit. But on the flip side, you don't want Avondale having control. Avondale have control, and Bryce in players like that playing further up the pitch, they'll be able to find those passes because we know they can do it. They've had, you know, like you said, 90% pass ratio throughout the season. So you don't want to do that. But on the flip side, you've got players on Avondale's team that you can come and definitely kill the game. We've got Boland, one of the best goal scorers in the competition. George Ott, again, another big presence up there, will make it extremely hard. And they'll probably be needed come towards the end of the game just for their height to be able to compete with South Melbourne going a bit more direct when they're chasing the game.
Nick, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Who's the front runner for the player of the match so far? We know there's a long way to go.
It's tough. I reckon Steph tremendous today. I think even him and Christian Trajewski as well have been really good. There's just been some moments. Trajewski as well playing through that press early I thought was really important. I think really you could probably throw a blanket over a few of them. Even George Malls has been quite good. Xander Guyers looked, you know, tremendous on that right wing, and then obviously on the left as well. Even before that goal we spoke about it, you know, he hit the crossbar as well. And it seemed like it was almost a bit of an instruction from Avondale to try and get the ball to Xander Guy when he's isolated with Brad Norton. So I think you could probably pick 2 or 3. I don't envy the referee's choice because you even put a few South Melbourne players up. There have been a few really impressive performances today.
You go the utility as well, Aidan Bryce. He's been he almost scored, cleared one off the line, been a rock and helping Manos deal with those balls in the air after he copped the knock. So,
and we believe he's probably the backup goalkeeper. So break glass in case of emergency. So we'll hope he's not called into action. We're going to wrap it up and come back with the second half. The halftime score at Olympic Village in the NPL Victoria Grand Final presented by Senol. Avondale 2, South Melbourne 0. Stay with us.
You know what, I saw him running out. I said, fuck, maybe he's going to just, you know what he said, just run straight over. Yeah, but you guys jumped on him. Oh, it is what it is, but... Come on, look at that. Come on.
Polios in commentary. Nick Debano is our man on the sideline, feeding us all the intel from what's been a busy afternoon on the benches so far. Tolsey, this is delicately poised. Avondale on the precipice, but they've fallen short in grand finals before. They've had the lead in grand finals before.
Looking at it now, they've got the experience. They've been there, so they understand what needs to happen. But we talked about it just before we came back on there. I don't think they'll take a backward step. I think they'll be pressing. They'll still be pushing to try and get this third to really put the game to bed. That's what they've done all season, is score goals. So why change now? So hopefully they keep that mindset. But it's a grand final. South will be putting the pressure on. They will make it hard for them. So, yeah, next 45 minutes is going to be crucial.
Well, South Melbourne have lost their last 3 matches here. An aggregate score of 9-2. Of course, 5-0 in a grand final doesn't help. It's not a happy hunting ground here at Olympic Village for Hellas. Can they turn around that unwanted record? I mean, it's a mountain to climb in this second half. 2-0 down.
Interesting that both teams didn't make a sub there, especially South, knowing they've got to chase the game now.
Jankovic, long one. Ukabene. Wallen's header, straight to Stefan Zinni, but it's a good challenge from Jiba. See that head-to-head again. Stefan Zinni goes back out to the left-hand side. Brennan. Around the corner for Langlois. The return to Brennan. And he wanted to fire it into the feet of the on-rushing Jack Painter-Andrews, but snuffed up by Tom Manos. Didn't have the angle on the pass.
Again, positive movement by South, getting the ball forward, being direct.
Stefan Zinni was down for a moment, but he's just lost a boot. Still hasn't got it back on. He's certainly not laced it up again. Don't think there's any injury problem there.
Again, like the first half, early pressure here by South. I tell you what, an early goal here will definitely make it interesting.
Cat amongst the pigeons. If South Melbourne can pull one back, this place would go off. It's a majority South Melbourne fans in today. Can they give their team a lift when they need it most? Marshall. Schroen was in there, so was Wallen. Painter-Andrews has his effort snuffed out. Brennan to the byline. Andy Brennan across goal. Langlois has his effort blocked.
By Aiden Bryce again in the right place, right time.
Oh, we were talking about the Jimmy Rooney medal today. I think Aiden Bryce might be my front runner, Tolsey.
Great positioning again, nice tight marking, especially again South Melbourne make it extremely hard for Avondale to get that ball out of defence.
Tolsey, I see your ears prick up every time there's a transition opportunity. You're watching what these teams are doing in terms of both how they try and attack the transition and, crucially, how they defend it. It's one of the hardest things to do in football, right?
Defend a transition, especially a team like Avondale with the weapons they have, the pace they have, even their fullbacks bombing forward. So just watching South's work rate, Joshy Wall in there with Painter-Andrews, who's helping out in the midfield as well at times.
It's a decent delivery. Kamara equal to it. Katabian winning a header. Jakupi away from danger. Great climb from Jankovic over Ahmed. Brennan. His pass falls short of the mark. Splits two teammates. Still busy, still working hard in that front line.
This is a repeat ball that South get. Christian did well there. This is where Avondale's got to be good. Keep the ball, make South work.
That's elegantly done out of pressure so far. What can Trajeski do? Can they link up with the attack? Ahmed, it's the quick return. Trajeski is in, but he's offside. Well, South Melbourne, in the end, pretty disciplined. Simon Markovski not happy with the decision.
Yeah, because I think what Zocchi's annoyed about is that he played for the ball and didn't win it. Now, we know the rule, but it did look like Christian was offside as the ball was played. So, again, we've got a better angle than what Zocchi does, but I get why he was getting frustrated then. But again, the way they played out is going to be key. They need to do that every time they win the ball to stop that transition moment. We don't want it to become a basketball game. That's what Avondale don't want.
Diagonal that time, but trickles straight through to the goalkeeper. You were critical of those balls in the first half, Tolsey.
Just the straight balls. I don't think that is the strength that South had. The diagonal balls are the ones that put fullbacks under pressure, and then they've got the numbers around the ball. That's what they've been good at all season. That straight pass is exactly what Avondale would want.
Benjiva keeping a close eye on Stefan Zinni. Mikola taking down Trajeski. Thinks he got the ball. Second time Trajeski's been down in a heap today.
Again, you see Avondale, they want to play that ball quickly.
And there's going to be a yellow card shown to someone on the bench here. Oh, Nick Debano, did you catch that?
I think that might have been for Zoran Markovski. Just gave him a bit of a look like, what, me? You know, so, yeah, just sort of came out of nowhere there. Didn't actually quite catch what it was for, maybe just a little bit of words. But we'll try to do some digging for you.
We never do anything wrong as coaches.
Trajeski, Ahmed, cutting back inside. Yui Ahmed forces a decent save out of Lopez.
Just the understanding between Ahmed and Christian there. The nice little reverse ball. The run that Yui made was brilliant. And great feet for a big man. He's got such great skill, elegant on the ball, and again, look for that far corner like Xander Guy did in the first half.
Jakupi. Xander Guy. Zinni knocks it down for Trajeski. George Mells, can he fashion a shooting chance? It's splayed well wide in the end. George Mells looked like he had the goal at his mercy.
Tell you what, Christian in the last 5 or so minutes has been pivotal with every chance that Avondale have had going forward. That little ball in there for Georgie Mells, he could have actually reversed it back to him. He was in a good position, but again, got to hit the target there, George.
I was surprised that he missed by the margin that he missed. Painter Andrews. Nice dummy to get around Jakupi, but Katabian is there to snuff out the cross.
You hear the crowd now starting to help South, kicking towards the South end as well. This is where it's important that Avondale keep defending, and that second ball. Got to be on for this second ball.
It's a sizable following. Can they give them something to cheer? Norton's delivery is dangerous. It's off Ahmed and harmlessly back to his own goalkeeper. Now Manos looking to start the break quickly. Zinni is there. Trajeski wants him to slip him in. Xander Guy's free on the right. He's already got one today. Xander Guy goes for goal, and it's a long way off target this time.
Christian looks frustrated there with Zinni, but Zinni did well because Christian was offside the whole way when he was running to try and get him behind. So the ball to Xander was good, but I think he just rushed, unless he saw Xavi off his line. You can see Manos again, we talked about it. They won't die wondering. They're going to be pushing forward as much as they can to put this game to bed. So
it's amazing that makeup of the Avondale midfield. 3 technicians. There's not really a stereotypical number 6 amongst them, but they make it work.
They do make it work, and then the luxury of having Yute Towns on the bench to just to continue that if he does come on.
Joey Katabian's transformation from striker into defensive midfielder has been a striking part of sort of the second half of his career.
And he does it so well. Like we said earlier, he knows how to control tempo.
Oh, Zinni, pace to burn. He's around Jeeba this time. He's catching up with him quick. Now Mikola back to help. And a clumsy challenge from Mikola.
That goal's done him a world of good. You saw him, that's what he's good at. knocked the ball past Jibba and just ran.
Well, that's his second foul in the space of a few minutes. He had the tackle on Christian Trajewski a few minutes ago. Has to be careful. I think he's going to stay out of the book, but Max Mikula, for an attacking player, has an absolutely rotten disciplinary record. He's never been sent off this season, but he has 11 yellow cards for a winger. An attacking midfielder is quite striking.
I think it's the way they like to play.
Sure.
Win the ball back early, and as Esteban would like, if they can't get out, they've got to make a decision, and fouling them further up the pitch is a lot better than doing it in and around these areas. This is where Avondale now can actually test them at set pieces.
Mells and Ricabene are the options over the free kick. George Mells there underneath it. Kamara harmlessly over the top. Nick Tabano, what have you got for us?
Yeah, it looks like South Melbourne are about to make a substitution. It looks like Yaqub Mustafa is going to be the first one called upon. And I do believe it may be Andy Brennan that's going to be coming off.
Mustafa on for Brennan is the word from the touchline. Tolsey, what do you make of that shift?
A little bit surprised, because I think Andy Brennan's been the most direct they've had. Everything that they've done well has usually come from Andy, either driving into space, driving into the box, getting himself on the end of things. So unless he's not 100% fit, a little bit surprised, but again, he's at a point where they've got to go for it, I guess.
Well, he's gotten through about 90 minutes of running in 55 minutes, I think, Andy Brennan. He's red as a beetroot over there, so maybe he needs a rest. Final words of instruction from Esteban Quintas for Yaqub Mustafa. He needs an impact from his substitutes today. A 2-0 hole in a grand final.
Especially when the game's starting to open up a bit. That's where he does his best work.
Payne to Andrews. Heads it back into the danger area, but straight to Kamara. Jakupi helps it on. Trajewski. An ambitious pass off the half volley. Benjiba tracking back quickly. Norton under pressure.
Oh, he's done well.
He's dribbled his way out of trouble.
Out of
A heart-in-mouth moment for the South Melbourne captain, but he knew what he was doing.
Johnny.
How they miss Ajak Riak. You love a target up front today.
Especially in those long throws. There's another presence.
Even just an open play for a few flick-ons and knockdowns. Well, I have to live without him.
Got the numbers here.
Payne to Andrews onto a loose ball. Brennan. Early delivery, misses Langlois. Yankovic! Langlois! Throw, and it's blocked by Kamara! They were queuing up, but somehow South Melbourne couldn't turn it home. Extraordinary. Pat Langlois, why didn't he pull the trigger?
I honestly don't know. The bodies were flying everywhere. There was chances galore. Marko Yankovic scuffed his shot, fell to Langlois, and then Langlois sort of didn't think he was coming to him. He saw it late. And then the block from Schroen's shot as well. What a great defensive block. You can see Andy Brennan disappointed because that was their chance.
Mustafa on for Brennan is the change. Let's have another look. Yankovic in nosebleed territory. Well, Langlois tried to centre the ball.
I just don't think his first touch was right. I think he's just came to him at a pace. I think he was shocked. Watch it here. Oh, no.
He's past that.
He's completely misjudged it.
Well,
that was an opportunity there to get South back.
Well, these are the moments that you look back on and rue. Pat Langlois, he's got a great goal-scoring record for a midfielder. 8 goals from a predominantly deep central midfield position is nothing to be sniffed at.
And I reckon Ute Towns could be getting ready here now for Christian. He doesn't look good. I think that early knock in the first half.
It's hampered him a bit. We've seen touches of class from Trajewski, but another couple of fouls on him early in this second half, and he's struggling. Mikula. Yankovic front post helps it on. Easy claim for Manos. What a glorious chance for South Melbourne. Would have changed the entire complexion of this game, and imagine the reaction of the crowd, the pressure they would have put on Avondale.
Would have made it hard for him. There's plenty of time, but that goal there just before the 60th minute mark gives them plenty of time. Substitution would have been as well with Mustafa Yacoub out.
Guy, Jeeba, Mustafa. All the way back to Josh Wallen, sitting just in front of the back four. Marcus Schroen, will bomb on. Appeal for a high foot there. Nothing doing. Mustafa, his first contribution off the bench. Can't find a way past James Riccobene, left back.
I think now with Andy Brennan coming off, those early balls into the box are not going to help them too much. They've lost that presence up front. They've got to just keep moving the ball around and pick their moments when they go direct south and use these opportunities here now.
Well, Kamara is down hurt. We're going to have a stoppage in play, so we'll go to Nick Debano. Avondale are about to make a change, Nick.
Yep, it's going to be Christian Trocheski coming off, and it looks like it'll be Yite Towns coming on. So interesting substitution here, considering Trocheski had quite an impact, but just watching him sort of lumber over now towards the bench, he does have a noticeable limp, so I do wonder if potentially there was an injury. But yeah, his afternoon is over.
Looks like he's got some heavy strapping on his leg there too.
Mikola long into the box. Manos coming, colliding with his own player. Big shout for handball from the fans. Mikola, his cross is charged down by Aidan Bryce. Oh, it looks like Tom Manos punched Ahmed in the head there, missed the ball.
I don't think there was anything in there. South hoping that was the handball, but
more out of hope than expectation from the supporters behind the goal. That was the change you flagged, Tolsey, with Christian Trocheski looking a little bit ropey. Now comes Yite Towns, who earlier in the campaign would have been a nailed-on member of this Avondale starting 11, but like you, Tolsey, fancied a bit of a European summer, so...
Nothing wrong with that, Joshy.
Certainly doesn't hurt your promotion chances if this season in NPL 2 is anything to go by.
Just lucky I had a good coaching group that really did a lot better without me, to be fair.
Avondale have adapted admirably without one of their key midfielders, and he's returned just at the right time, been on an individual training program for the last month, trying to get himself fit. Great challenge from Jake Marshall.
It's got to be South's ball as well. Great defending.
It's actually come back off Xander Guy. Spot on, Tolsey. Kabene. Ahmed. Schroen. Oh, it's all South Melbourne at the moment. Avondale having to defend their lead.
Again, that straight ball. Avondale will enjoy that.
Every time it trickles through to Manos, he can take his 6 seconds, reset things, take the sting out of the game. A first touch,
great
pass, that is from George Mells. That is sheer class. Zinni. Guy arriving, but too late for this one. Able to win back the loose ball, though. Xander Guy twisting this way and that. No easy way past Ben Jeeba. And goal kick is the verdict again. Great one-on-one defending.
Again, he's been super. There's another person that we talked about him early in the first half, really making it hard for Zinni. He's had a great game too.
He's that more defensive stay-at-home right back. Doesn't get that far forward, but in this South Melbourne team, he's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, covers well. Him and Marshall have got a great understanding.
He's always the one who hangs back off the corners and the throw-ins and stops those quick plays in transition. Mustafa keeps it alive. Well, he made quite the impact in even fewer minutes in the Doherty Cup final last year. Player of the match after playing about 13 minutes off the bench against Oakley, involved in 1 goal, scored another.
Great 13 minutes goal.
I wonder which coach decided to bring him off the bench.
Made him look good.
Yite Towns. Need that sort of impact today. Still got Alan Webb in reserve. Luka Ninkovic, another option if they want to go more direct.
Yeah, I was just watching Joshy Wallen. He's every couple of times the ball's gone out, he's having an extra bit of having time to stretch. Obviously, he hasn't played that much football last month or so. Being the midfield's been so strong.
I feel like they might sacrifice a midfielder for a forward at this point.
I think they do. I think they have to get some support there to Max Mikola, someone that's naturally can play through the middle, someone like Webb who has got pace, knows where the goal is. And Paddy will probably slot next to Marcus a little bit deeper, but get himself forward as well.
That one's just evaded Brad Norton, and now Stefan Zinni has a chance. Zinni goes for goal. Well wide of the mark that time, off his weaker left boot.
I think that's been key for Avondale today. Both their wingers not being scared to run it. Gibber or Norton to really, really make it hard for him. It's just been smart. Stays away, knows when to come to link up to support them. You can see he drags one or two players away with him. And then you've got those runs coming from deep with Christian. So again, George Mel's doing well there. Look, you can see their defensive unit, their shape. You can see Ahmed covering now.
And he's pointing to George Mel's there to cut off the pass to Wallen in the middle. Protect that area of the field and force South Melbourne long. It's textbook stuff. And that's the defensive steel and discipline that Avondale have added this year.
And then that composure.
They've always had absolute quality on the ball, but their defensive record hasn't always held up. Zinni's going to be offside here. Late flag. Nick Dabano, more intel for us on the touchline.
Yep, double change coming for South Melbourne. Ali Suleimani and Alan Webb coming on. Just going to get confirmation of who's coming off. I do believe one of them is Jack Painter-Andrews. We'll let you know who the second one is in just a sec.
Oh, big changes afoot for South Melbourne. Ali Suleimani left out of the squad for last week's semi-final. He's going to get his chance in the big dance. Painter-Andrews. He's done this all himself. Jakupi recovers in time. Avondale just eating up pressure at the moment. Just under 25 minutes to play. South Melbourne have steadied the ship and had a chance or two. One glorious opportunity for Pat Langlois in a goal-mouth scramble, but haven't been able to claw back this Avondale lead, and now Avondale could add to that lead as Zinni cuts it back for Mel's. Crucial defensive intervention there from Wallen, who's...
I think he's run his last race then, yeah. You can see
he's about to come off, surely. Yeah. He's cramping up.
It is Josh Wallen, guys.
Not a bad ball for Xander Guy.
Oh, Jibaden brilliantly defended.
It didn't matter in the end, he was offside. So here comes that change, that double change.
Double substitution for South Melbourne coming off. Josh Wallen and Jack Painter-Andrews. Coming on, number 19, Alan Webb, and number 21, Ali Suleimani.
Big changes. Alan Webb scored the goal that took them to the grand final last year. What will these two provide, Tolsey? Give it a different look up front, rolling the dice a bit.
I think they are rolling the dice. Ali, again, we know what he did when he was at Dandy Thunder, playing as a false nine, getting on the score sheet.
They've left Mikola out there. He doesn't always complete 90 minutes.
And Webb's just direct, his pace in behind, nose for goal. So both players are players that can get themselves forward, throw numbers in the box.
It's a pretty reliable finisher, Alan Webb, when the ball falls to him. Just got to hope that a chance breaks his way.
Avondale got two players down. I'm not sure who's on the far side. Could be Xander Guy, I think.
It's Kamara on the deck, and yep, Xander Guy as well. Had so many injury stoppages today.
One thing Avondale got, we got the extra man on the bench.
That's true. Maybe the gamble will pay off after all.
Again, you've got Boland, Armour that can go out wide.
Well, last week they had young Zach Cittadini on the bench. This week, no backup goalkeeper. They're backup earlier in the campaign. Mackenzie Siren went and signed for Preston Lions mid-season, so maybe lacking a bit of depth in the goalkeeper department. Sorry, Markovsky said, I'm going to put my 6 best players out here, and they're all outfielders.
The other one we haven't mentioned much is Liston Diaz. He's such an important player. He's come on, scored so many important goals for Avondale to either put games away or crucial goals that won the game. So this is set up for him to come on, and as the game opens up, fresh pair of legs.
Well, he scored the sealer in round 25, the second goal that saw out Avondale's 2-1 win over South Melbourne at Avenger Park. 7 goals this season, the vast majority of those coming off the bench. As Yui Ahmed is adjudged offside, pretty clear-cut call it looked like.
No, right decision there by the AR. South in the last 5 or so minutes have been very sloppy with their passes, whether it's balls getting played out the back.
I'm seeing activity on the Avondale bench, Nick DeBano.
Yep, so it is going to be a double change. Liam Boland and Liston Diaz coming on. A nice little moment here with Liam Boland just shaking hands and a few hugs with the players on the bench here and the coaching staff. Of course, this is his final game for Avondale, so 20 minutes for him away from finally getting that NPL Victoria Championship. And I will add, it looks like it's Stefan Zini is one of the players coming off, and we'll just get confirmation on the second one as well. Actually, no, it's Xander Guy, so it's both wingers look like they're coming off here.
Well, Xander Guy was down a moment ago. Looks to have run his race. What a special moment for Liam Boland. Preparing to make his introduction. Well, he's surpassed Milos Luic this season as the highest scoring forward of all time in NPL Victoria.
Double substitution for Avondale
in the NPL era, of course. 103 NPL Victoria goals. Does he have one more in the boots, Liam Boland?
And number 10,
A great way to sign off. Scoring a goal in the grand final. Great game by Xander Guy and Zini.
Well, 2 players at opposite ends of their careers. Liston Diaz just making a name for himself this season as Avondale super sub, and Liam Boland, Mr. FFA Cup as he was known. 11 national stage goals, the highest scoring NPL player in the national stages of the now Australia Cup. He's heading back to his native Western Australia after this season. What a player he's been.
What a player, and what a goal he scored in the FA Cup at Gully as well.
Scored a memorable goal against South Melbourne as well, if I remember.
Yep.
Another halfway line effort. Looking to sign off in style. Ahmed with the late challenge. South Melbourne have the advantage, which didn't really accrue that invitingly. Jeeba is going to go long towards Mikola, who wins a flick on. South Melbourne needs something and they need it quickly, but the ball's broken to Avondale. It's Liston Diaz. Lopez elects not to come for that. Mel's has 2 in the middle and splits both of them straight to Lopez, and that's a let-off for South.
Yeah, George, you should have done a lot better there. Ahmed was on the edge of the box on his own. I think he was looking for Boland in the back stick. You don't blame him. Big target, man.
Schroen. High hanging ball. Ooh, Ali Suleimani was on the end of it too. Bit of a miscommunication there. Ricabene didn't challenge for it so much. Xander Guy just exchanging pleasantry with his former bosses in the South Melbourne media team.
He did. He just went past George Koo there. Good exchange.
Very nice to see the sportsmanship on grand final day. rival clubs, but it's all one game and it's a glorious competition. We love it so much. Katabian.
Oh, Ken, brilliant ball.
Another pinpoint switch of play. Liston Diaz going to work. An unconvincing strike as Poland arrived on the edge of the 6-yard box.
Just see the composure of Katabian there, waiting for someone to come to him. Didn't. Had time, get on the ball and play a brilliant pass, and then look at that work rate as well, winning the ball.
Uncompromising challenge too, clean as a whistle.
He would have loved that in front of Zocchi as well and his team.
Absolutely. Somehow found its way through to Mikola. Can't find a teammate again.
He's just breaking down in that final ball into the box and getting in behind at times, but just the numbers. The best chances they've had have been from either a throw-in or any set pieces where they've got more numbers around the ball.
Mikola. Bolans. Liam Bolans knocks one into space for Liston Diaz. Diaz has Boland in support. Liam Boland in his final game sees his shot blocked.
You see the way they're set up, Avondale at the moment, very disciplined. Back four staying, aren't taking any risks.
Boland would love a goal. Diaz from the angle. Oh,
what a save.
Incredible stop. That one was fizzing across Harvey Lopez's goal. Got a good hand to it.
Again, they were patient. Great first touch. Oh, great angle. Oh, what a save. What a strike, what a save.
Incredible reaction from Lopez.
Fantastic camera work as well.
Diaz has a bit of dynamite in those boots. That could be what settles things once and for all for Avondale. Mel's with the corner. Good grab from Lopez.
This is a chance now. If they've got...
Kamara going down a little theatrically.
Looks like Luka Jankovic could be coming on, that presence that we talked about. They're not getting numbers into the box.
Bryce under the pump there. Caught late by Mikola. Katabian, in no uncertain terms, is saying, where's his yellow card? He's had that many fouls. None of them have been that significant, I suppose, but it's probably the most innocuous of them. Did he show his studs there? Oh, he did step on the boot.
Look.
Nick DeBarno.
Yeah, Luka Ninkovic coming on now. Will be Marcus Schroen coming off. So a very attacking change here from South, leaving it all on the line here with 15 minutes to go.
Well, they're not going to die wondering. Luka Ninkovic, such an aerial presence. Maybe what they've been missing today without Riak.
Yeah, just having that extra bigger body, because you can see any time the ball, I think he got the card.
He did get the card. Eventually repeat fouling for Max Mikola.
Well done there by Adam. Took his time, didn't have to rush it.
Substitutions from South Melbourne coming off number 10, Marcus Schroen. Coming on number 15, Luka Ninkovic.
Marcus Schroen, disappointment for him after his spectacular winning goal in the semi-final. 2 on the night, including the winner in stoppage time. From outside the box, was hoping for a similar story today.
Had the chance. Just good defending by Avondale.
Ite Towns trying to keep this one alive, but well defended. Well, he scored 2 goals in a grand final in 2016, Marcus Schroen. Not his day today. Who can be the hero? Will Avondale see this out for the club's first ever Victorian title? Chiba with a nice bit of footwork. He finds Alan Webb. Hangs it up towards Ninkovic, who's hit the deck. Under pressure from Dylan Jakupi. Is there a little shove there? Adam Bavka waves it away.
I don't think there was enough in it though, Josh. It was a push, but I think the ball had gone beyond Ninkovic and...
Wasn't a chance to challenge for that ball.
No, correct.
Ite Towns winning it high up the park from Jankovic. And now Boland feeding Yusuf Ahmed. And Lopez off his line quickly. Can Boland make him pay? Liam Boland! In his last game for Avondale, Liam Boland has the fairy tale finish. What a goal!
What a strike, and look at the celebrations here by the Avondale bench. Everyone's vacated. What a great strike. Great through ball from Ahmed Yusuf. I thought Xavi Lopez did enough, but then Liam Boland, the composure to take one touch, take a second touch, and then to absolutely drill that into the top corner. What a strike, and what a way to end that. His time at Avondale with a goal in the grand final. Congratulations to him. What an absolute champion of a player in the NPL.
You can see the emotion, you can see what it means. Andy Vargas was all the way down the touchline there to celebrate. He gets the yellow card and he doesn't care.
He won't mind. That's one yellow card he'd love to get.
What a way to finish. That is absolutely incredible from Liam Boland.
What a striker. Look at this. Xavi Lopez done well, but the composure to take one, take his second touch on his left foot. Oh, what a strike. Fantastic strike. Well deserved. And look at the celebrations. Oh, look at that. They came from everywhere. Even Manos came from. Oh, great scenes.
Avondale know it's won. Surely now that's enough. Bryce trying to clear the danger. South desperately need a response. Take a miracle from here, and Yaqub Mustafa can't get it on target from the angle. Down to the sideline, Nick Tabano.
Yeah, really nice moment here on the bench, guys. The second that Boland scored, just get out of the way. The whole bench just streaming all the way over down to that far side on the left, but also a nice moment they all came back. Zoran Markovski already, starting the celebrations, a few hugs with some of the fans behind the bench there, and it's a really nice moment. They can taste it. It's only 10 minutes away now, and it's been a long time coming, guys. I mean, this team missed finals last year. It's been an incredible turnaround. We know the circumstances behind the difficult 2022, but they're deserving, and this is looking like a really, really nice finish for them.
Well, for all we talk about tactics and quality in these two teams, the tactical battle we've had today, Avondale try and flood forward for a fourth. Diaz, Liston Diaz, what a save again, Lopez. And Yite Towns will let it go for the corner.
Another great strike, and we talked about the two guys coming off the bench for Avondale, Boland and Diaz, both have goals in them, and then you can see another deflected. What a great save.
Incredible.
Avondale coming off, number 11, Yusuf Ahmed, number 68, Kanilu Kamara. Coming on for Avondale, number 14, Blake Carpenter, and number 9, George Ott.
Oh. Here they come. What depth. How envious must every other coach in this league be that you can bring George Ott and Blake Carpenter off the bench with 8 minutes to play. Off comes Yusuf Ahmed. Carpenter off the short corner, getting involved quickly. As I was saying, we talk tactics and details, but when it comes down to it, 2 of the 3 goals today have been 2 of the purest strikes you're likely to see.
Correct. As a coach, you can't do anything but admire the great strikers and a guy to get the ball rolling, and then just Liam Boland doing what he does best.
Boland winning a knockdown. Diaz, he's just been a live wire since he's come on.
Again, just the movement. Yite Towns and composure. Great ball.
Feels like they've withstood South Melbourne's resistance, and it's just a matter of seeing this out, having a bit of fun out there.
You look at the timing of the goals as well. One just before half-time. Then Esteban's gone to make some changes, and they concede the 3rd goal shortly after they brought on Luka Ninkovic. So the timing of the goals have been important.
Here is Ninkovic winning a knockdown to no one in particular. There's just so much space now for George Mells to exploit.
George Ott's in here.
He's Liston Diaz. He's going to go for goal. It's his third shot since coming off the bench. He's getting closer and closer.
You don't blame him. You can see there, Manos, as soon as he got the ball in his hand, keeper's now at 3-0, would normally get it, go down. Saw George, oh, what a strike. Saw George Mells. George Mells got the ball on the ground. Listen, there's plenty of time and space. And again, another great strike.
Well, he deserves a goal, I think, for his instant impact. He's been so exciting to watch.
Again, on the flip side, we were talking about Esteban, how unlucky some of the substitutions or the moments they conceded, but for me, it's the timing of some of the substitutions that Zocchi's made at the right time. So then they withheld all that pressure that South Melbourne had, and then they brought on those two players and Ute Towns at the right time for me, and that just freshened things up.
Well, what's the mood like down on the sideline? Is it party time for the Avengers? Might get some insight from Nick Debano in a moment. Is the game won, Nick Debano?
I think so, guys. I think they're closing in on victory here. It's going to be hard to score 3 in 5 and a bit minutes here, guys. I think it's going to take something Herculean. I know this league and this state can deliver some incredible results, but it would take something quite remarkable. I think that the sting's come out of this game a little bit, and I can sense that Avondale can feel it. Looking at Zora Markovski at the moment, there's a bit of a wry smile. Even he knows it, Josh. And I think even if he's looking comfortable at the moment, I think the Avondale players should be too.
Well, you couldn't have scripted it any better. Liam Boland's off the bench in his final game in Victoria. Goal number 104, and it's the one he'll treasure the most. He scored in the penalty shootout against Bentley in 2019. So did Joey Katabian. Plenty of survivors from that side who've been wanting to put it right for 4 years.
Feet there by Jibber.
And he's in a bit of trouble too. He got caught late. Just the journey of this Avondale team over the past few years. Went down to Heidelberg in 2018. Penalty shootout, recovered. In 2021, they were on top of the ladder when the season was abandoned, the COVID cancellation, and weren't able to compete in finals. And then last year, just a nightmare run of injuries and missed the finals race completely. Lost Stefan Valentini and Brandon Lundy to Oakley. A few departures. How have they turned it around? How have they done it, Tolsey? Do you think the potential was just always there?
Oh, look, the core's there. The core's there, and then the biggest thing that I think Zocchi did this year and the last couple of seasons is just refresh the group. Brought some new players in.
Another look at his finish. It's just superb. Lopez does everything he can. He's well off his line, but Boland had a lot to do there.
Yeah. So I think that's been the key for him, just bringing in some fresh faces to really start changing the way they go about it, a bit more mobility, and then just the competition that he brought into that change room. You look at the bench and you look at trying to keep everyone happy is very hard to do as a coach.
Suleimani, the staff are having to chase it down. Ojiba has limped off here. He has not re-entered the pitch. South Melbourne down to 10 players. Mel spreads the play out to Diaz. Diaz to cross, deep to the back post, Mel's. Langlois able to hoof it clear. It doesn't look like South Melbourne are going to replace Jiba here. I think they may have used all their substitution windows.
Yeah, you can see Jibber's.
He's on one leg.
Yeah, he's had a great game. He's been under pressure.
Flick on from Ninkovic for Alan Webb. Could there be a late reply? Snuffed out by Ricabene. Good defending.
He's had a great game too. Been solid. Done everything right.
So reliable. The Ricabene brothers. Phil not in the team today. Saw him walk out, but he's done a PCL injury and wasn't able to play a part. They've both played over 100 games for this club. Another long throw. Well defended again. Suleimani doesn't strike it cleanly. Clearance into his own man from George Ott.
But again, dealing with everything that South is throwing at him. Friendly fire.
Sniped his own teammate there. Mikola. His arms must be getting tired at this point. Sliced towards Ninkovic. Surrounded by 4 or 5 Avondale shirts. Mikola drills it across goal that time. Still, it's not clear. Jankovic. Marshall on the spin. They scored a brilliant side volley against Bentley earlier this year at Kingston Heath, but that one didn't quite sit for him. Jack Marshall.
He did well to get the shot on target, to be fair. Player up, marking tightly.
Dylan Jacoupy fancies a bit of a run here. As he got left in the legs, he delivers early.
Well read there by Lopez.
Well, he can't really fault the goalkeeper, maybe for the second goal. That's a big challenge from Diaz, who's going to go into the book.
Again, I don't think he's going to mind that.
A tactical foul on the break. Alan Webb less than impressed. How many more minutes will we have added? Mustafa. Suleimani drills it across. Katabian away from Mikola. Again, they defend their box really well, Avondale. Now Boland looks up for a teammate. Yite Towns is streaming through. Boland clumsily concedes the free kick.
Definitely a striker's challenge, that one.
Langlois. Mustafa with the back heel flick. Norton fancies it as well. And Mustafa way off target. It just hasn't been South Melbourne's day. Esteban.
Yep, so just go and have a look here at the moment. Esteban Quintas has already gone over to shake hands with Zoran Markovski at the end of this game and just exchanging a few words at the moment. Looks like it's all well and good. And he's already exchanging pleasantries with the entire Avondale bench. So looks like the white flag has officially been waving here, guys, and that's that.
Well, it's the equivalent of the concession speech, isn't it? When you know the race is lost. Quintas going over to the bench before the final whistle. There's no coming back from here for South Melbourne, and it's going to be joyous scenes. Sorry.
Good gesture there by Esteban to, again, never easy being on the losing side, and there's a lot of respect as coaches with everyone in the league. It's not an easy job, and again today Avondale has stood up tall.
Here comes Diaz. Tired legs out there for South. Diaz! Oh, that's a splendid finish into the far corner. It's been coming. And the cherry on the cake for Avondale comes from Liston Diaz. The super sub with a super impact to finish the game.
There it is. We talked about it. The impact that he's had off the bench. That was his 4th effort. And this time, there was nothing that Xavi Lopez could do. Liam Boland and Liston Diaz coming off the bench and scoring 2 great goals. And again, fantastic way to end the season for him as well.
Well, the scoreline's blown out now. Uncomfortable echoes of last year's grand final for South Melbourne. 5-0 against Oakley that night. 4-0 against Avondale today. Hasn't really felt like a 4-0 game, but Avondale have punished them ruthlessly.
They have. You've got to be mindful as well. People might not know that Jibber's come off injured too. Well, they've been playing with 10 men the last, 15 odd minutes.
Ricabene up. Ott. Carpenter. Yeah, all 3 substitution windows used, bringing 4 players on. And there it is. Avondale have finally done it. It was emphatic in the end. It's been such a long wait for those veterans of the 2019 Grand Final. Heartbreak on penalties that night at Amy Park. But all of those disappointments and regrets banished in one fell swoop as Avondale cap a historic season. The title that they feel they deserve. That is now 83 goals in 28 games. 67 points. No one has won more points in a league season than that in the NPL era. Well, you have to say they've deserved it, Tozzy.
Oh, they have. Look, credit to Zoc and his team and Avondale as a whole. Been fantastic this season, and what a way to finish it, scoring 4 goals in the grand final, doing what they've done all season, and being clinical in front of goals, standing tall when they needed to. And yeah, just look, really, really thrilled for Zocky to get this win. I know there was talk about the minor premiership, how much that meant to them, but I know this will mean a lot to him and his coaching staff, because they've been there or thereabouts so many times, and credit to him because they've got a fantastic squad and a fantastic side, and you can see the smile on his face. So look, credit to him, and yeah, really happy for him.
The record breakers, they've played scintillating football all year, and they brought out the big guns, the highlights in the grand final. 3 of the 4 goals, absolute wonder strikes. Let's take a look at some of them now. Here's Liston Diaz with the sealer. Just clinical into the far corner. What about the confidence and the swagger of the young man?
Look, but he's done it all season. It's something that he's done, and we talked about. He's scored so many important goals. Scored the winner against South last time they played, and look, he had 4 chances today when he's come on, and you know he's taken that one really well, and a couple of saves there by Xavi Lopez. But again, credit to South Melbourne. Another grand final, you know, another super season. Not easy to back it up year on year to do what they've done. And unfortunately, they've fallen short again.
Yeah, well, a tough pill to swallow for South. They finished on top of the ladder last year. This time coming in second place. They've been so strong and so competitive. But again, in the biggest game of the year, they didn't have their star striker. Harrison Sawyer moved mid-season to secure a professional contract in India. They lost him mid-year and it seemed to derail their progress. Now, Ajak Riak, well, he's so good he's getting called up for international duty. That's the problem with having such talented players in your team, but they missed him dearly this afternoon.
I think they did, especially just knowing the way they play, getting those balls into those areas, because, again, no disrespect to Mikola or the boys that came on Alan Webb, that's not their strength. Their strength is to get the ball, play in those areas. You know, obviously Andy Brennan got tired, and he did push and did work super hard, both in the first half and obviously the first 20 minutes in the second half. So, look, it is unfortunate for them losing the strikers. We talked about it before the game, but again, it's something they've got to look at as a club. You know, is it something they knew that he was about to go on the international duties? Was their plan B to do what they did today? Look, we don't know. They're in the sanctum, but again, it did make their life a lot harder, especially the way they get the ball into the box.
Let's have another look at some of the goals. Here's Stefan Zinni with the second. We were stunned when that trickled over the line. Excellent work from Yusuf Ahmed in the build-up. And then Zinni getting across Brad Norton. Getting the slightest of a toe on it. Maybe took a deflection on the way, we're not sure. But that seemed like the killer blow just before half-time in stoppage time.
Again, that was a crucial moment in the game where going in at 1-0 at half-time, we thought 8 minutes due to the injury with Manos, and then you know, the way the ball went in, we were both looking at each other going, did it spin in, did it take a deflection? Going 2-0 down, and then just, again, timing of the goals they conceded in the second half, South Melbourne, and I think Zocky made his subs at the right time, brought on fresh legs, and again, look at the bench he's got to work with, just Liam Boland, Liston Diaz, goals in them galore, and again, both those 2 goals in the second half look brilliant.
This was the opener from Xander Guy. Drifting inside from the right flank. He had 3 South defenders converging on him, but he just knew exactly when to pull the trigger. And that's maybe the best goal he's ever scored. Certainly right up there.
Definitely in an Avondale shirt. That's his best strike, and what a way to do it. Going back to one of the questions we had earlier, player of the game.
It's a murderer's row, isn't it? I could honestly not pick one, Tolsey.
I swayed from, obviously, I was confident with Bryce the way he defended, important moments, well, defensively and obviously in attack. But for me, someone that grew in the game that really controlled that tempo in that game was Joey Katabian.
Yeah.
I think he was great defensively. He was in the right areas at the right time, slowed the game down when they needed to slow the game down, but also started spraying balls to give Zinni, Xander Guy, Liston Diaz, Ahmed those one-on-one opportunities to really run and hurt the back four of South Melbourne.
It's sort of almost hard to give it to one of the attackers because they were all so good in different passages, whereas maybe someone who is more consistent over the 90 minutes, a Bryce or a Katabian, you might say.
Georgie Mel's had a good game getting himself forward.
And look at the scenes of celebration when they won it. Kalalu Kamara, absolutely delighted.
And then you got Reid as well. Again, he's had a injury-plagued season, and he'd be loving it, as much as he would like to be out there. But he's one of those guys that leads by example.
Does he don the full kit to lift the trophy, the captain? He's only played 3 games. Does he do the John Terry?
Well, they did throw us before the game, so there's no reason why they wouldn't do it now.
They sent out a couple of players who weren't starting to line up for the national anthem, which threw us for a sixer, but just a few nice sentimental touches from South Melbourne.
Yeah.
From Avondale, I should say. And what about a word on South Melbourne? I mean, Brad Norton, we're not sure if he'll go round again after 300 games. He had his moment last week. Tough for him today to be on the losing side for the second year in a row.
100%. It's a tough way to finish this season off, but he can't put his head down. He's been fantastic for South Melbourne. He's a brilliant servant. He's been there, done that, won this competition before, but look, definitely he'd be feeling, again, getting to the grand final, not being able to get over the line. But look, we said it is not easy to do what they've done, to back it in last year and today, to come back to play a grand final. So credit to Esteban and his team. Always find a way to get themselves into this thing, but can they go that distance now? That's the next one for them, trying to make sure they build this squad again next season. Again, obviously pending the B League as well, which we're still not sure. Well, both teams could be.
Yeah, both national second division aspirants, of course. And I honestly think the standard of football that we saw today, even in a 4-0 game, from both sides was so high. Intensity was so high from the word go. It really felt like a final.
Yeah, correct. It did. And we talked about two best teams throughout the year made the grand final, and again, there was moments for South Melbourne early in the first half, moments for them again early in the second half to get one back, and then Avondale just showing that composure and that understanding for one another. The guys that are coming in, doing a role, making an impact is all what Zocchi would have wanted from the guys on the bench, and he got that.
Well, we're just about ready to go for the presentation, so we'll leave you with those scenes. I've been Josh Parrish. Nick Tolios, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast today.
Pleasure,
it's
Josh.
been a delight.
Yeah, it's good. Great to do this with you, and great call, and to the entire team of, putting the broadcast on. The camera angles that we had today, and the replays we had to watch were fantastic, so credit to everyone.
Yeah, we got some fantastic angles, and we're getting a great angle now of the trophy. That's the prize today. We'll leave you with our MC at the presentations. Nick DeBarno is on MC duties today. The final score at Olympic Village, Avondale 4, South Melbourne 0. Avondale are the champions.
Nate, over there.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a fantastic final we've had, and a fitting way to end the NPL Victoria men's season in 2023. Can we please have a big round of applause for Avondale and South Melbourne, who put on a great show for us today. A big thank you to our sponsors, including major sponsor Chanel. Chanel's name is synonymous with Victorian football, supporting the game at all levels, including its naming rights partner of the NPL finals since 2019. Established 18 years ago as an independent company, Chanel specialises in the delivery of innovative, high-quality residential and commercial property solutions within Melbourne and surrounding areas. Thanks again to Rushdie Chanel and your team at Chanel for your long-term support. Here with us today to present the awards, we have Jimmy Rooney, Chairman of Football Australia, Chris Nickard, and Rushdie Chanel. Firstly, we would like to thank the match officials, without which this game would not have been possible.
Thank you to our referees. Firstly, referee Adam Babcock, assistant referee William Sansa, assistant Astro Sakals, and fourth official Michael Manus. We would like to now award the player of the match as voted by the match officials. It's with great pleasure to announce the player of the match for today's final is Aiden Bryce. Open. We would now like to present the runners-up medals to the runner-up teams. South Melbourne have had an incredible year, and although they fell short today, we'd like to congratulate the team on their achievements throughout 2023. First up, number 1, Harvey Lopez. Number 4, Marko Jankovic. Number 5, Jake Marshall. Number 6, Langla. Number 7, Andy Brennan. Number 10, Marcus Strong. Number 14, Josh Wallen. Number 22, Max Mikla. Number 24, Ben Jiva. Number 44, Jack Painter Andrews. Number 2, Lyra Mamaz. Number 12, Yagub Mustafa. Number 15, Luka Nikovic. Number 19, Alan Webb. Number 20, William Lejeune. Number 21, Ali Soleimani. And the captain, number 11, Brad Norton. And coach, Esteban Quintas. I'd now like to invite the runners-up captain, Brad Norton, to say a few words and accept the runners-up pennant.
Deja vu for us. Firstly, Zoc, Brycey, team, congratulations guys. You're the best team across the space of 26 games and the best team in the final, so congratulations and well done. To everyone who turned out, we appreciate the support. There's so many South supporters. We let you down again, but you keep coming in numbers, and we appreciate you very much. So thank you very much for your support. To the club, Esteban, President, Mezzaruni, all these guys, you put in countless effort throughout the space of the year. We appreciate all the support you give us. Sorry we let you down this year again, but we'll be fighting again next year. And to our boys, guys, what can I say? You make me proud every single week, week in, week out. Unfortunately, we fell short again today, but I'm really proud of you all, and we have to go again, so keep your heads up. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Brad. And now, for your 2023 Channel NPL Victoria Men's Champions, Avondale. Number 3, James Riccobene. Number 7, Stefan Zini. Number 8, George Mouse. Number 11, Yusuf Ahmed. Number 21, Thomas Manos. Number 22, Dylan Jacoupy. Number 23, Christian Trajewski. Number 33, Joey Katavian. Number 68, Khalilo Kamara. Number 99, Xander Guy. Number 9, George Ott. Number 10, Liam Bolland. Number 13, Yee-Tay Towns. Number 14, Blake Carpenter. Number 24, Adam Al-Hayek. Number 25, Listen Diaz. And the captain, number 4, Aiden Bryce. And the coach, Zoran Markovsky. I'd now like to invite the coach of Avondale, Zoran Markovsky, to say a few words and accept the Champions Trophy.
First of all, to Esteban, Brad and his team, I think the games we've had in the past few years have been super games. They're all intense. You've had the wood over us a couple of times, and then the time he's come to our ground, I think we ended up winning 2-1. They're all massive contests. When there's a final series and you see the top 2 teams playing Victorian football, these 2 teams have been the benchmark of Victorian football for a couple of years. I know we failed a bit last year, but what a contest today. You can look at it, I mean, there was a moment in the game, it's all about moments. We took our moments, South had a couple of opportunities, and then we finished them off in the end. But at the same time, full credit to your boys. You kept us at it all year. It's been a massive season for both teams, so thanks Brad, Esteban and his team. Thank you. The bigger picture in football is we're on a journey for 5 years with this group. My 2 assistant coaches have stuck with me through thick and thin. That's Andy Vargas and Jeff Fleming. As a coach, you can take accolades, win football games, but if you haven't got a good staff with you, and a good board, and a good playing group, you'll achieve nothing in football. So from me, like I say, it's a massive achievement for this football club, but I'm so proud of this group, not making finals last year and finishing 7th, to come out and probably dominate Victorian football. I'm really proud as a coach to say, not only we're the best NPL team in Victoria, we're the best team in Australia. To my family, thanks for all your support during the year. My wife Lisa, my 3 girls, Steph, Tash and Chloe, I love yous. My 2 grandkids, Spencer and Sass, I love you even more. On another note, like I said, football clubs are run by volunteers. Our board has supported me from day dot. And to represent this football club from the president, Anthony Warner, and his board, I just want to say thanks very much for backing me and my coaching staff and the playing group this year. When you go, like I said, when you go on a journey and you win 2 trophies in Victorian football, I'll tell you what, guys, with the fans tonight, we're going to enjoy this one big time. Just one more before I go. The haters of Avondale. You can see all the support we got today. They made more noise than anyone else on the ground. So all the haters in Victorian football, come to the Columbia Club and you can celebrate with us as well. Here we go, baby.
Thanks, Doc. I'd like to now present Rushdu Channel to present the Champions Trophy to both Zoki Markovsky and Aidan Bryce, and of course Liam Boland as well.
Hopefully it's cut off. Oh, good, yeah. Whew.
Just like this.
I have Liam Boland here, the man of the hour, off the bench. In your last game for Avondale, you couldn't have scripted it any better.
Nah, it's a perfect ending. We've obviously fallen short a couple of times, Josh, as you've seen over the last 6 years. Just what a day for it. Honestly, it's an incredible moment. Something obviously I'll cherish forever with this group. It's a special group. To do it with Zoc and Chala and Jeff. Finally made a lot of hard work, and it was nice to cap it off with a goal as well. So yeah, special.
I'm sure you would have taken it any way it came, but that was a pretty spectacular finish.
Yeah, I didn't mind that one. I haven't really scored from range this year, so I had to do it. It was luckily in the last game of the year, but the boys were sensational today, and to come on when the game was 2-0, it's a more enjoyable bit of freedom. So it was special.
We were talking about the boys who were there in 2019, heartbreak on penalties against Bentley. You've been waiting a long time to put it right with the COVID-abandoned seasons and then the injury hell that you're in last year, missing finals. I mean, this has got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, I actually watched the 2019 grand final for the first time since we lost last night. So I was just seeing if there's anything I could have done differently on the big stage like this. And it's still hard to think about those days, but it's nice to finally put it in the back of the mind now with a win. So, it's special with this group. Obviously, we missed out, and some of us missing out on 2 years of the prime of your career. It's hard in the pandemic, so it's special to finally get the one that matters.
And you scored more goals this season than any team in the NPL era, more points as well, capping a historic season in style. You got to feel you deserved it.
Yeah, there's not a better team in the country in the NPL, and I don't think there will be for some time, honestly. The goals we've scored, the football we've played, every week turning up and playing our way, no matter who we play against. It's something that we can all be really proud of, and we've had it drilled into us by the coaches, and it's just so special, mate, to be honest. Like the club stuck by the group, and after a bad year last year, and it means the world to us, so it's awesome.
Talk me through your decision to go back to WA. I mean, we've had so many memories with you in Victorian football. To finish like this is incredible, but back to see family?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, 9 years of football here. I moved over at 22. Big part of my life here. My wife luckily sacrificed a lot to move over with me, and I'm forever grateful for them. And now I've got a young family, so I've got my boy Harry. It's only us here, so I mean, it was a family decision, and I'd love to stay a couple more years, but it's the right time for me to move on, give someone else a crack at the club as well, which is good. So it's special, mate.
It's a bit poetic there having you and Liston come off the bench and both score, because you've got, you in your final game for Avondale, and then Liston, the young buck who's had such...
El Toro. He knows one way at the moment, that's pace, and teams can't deal with him, so scores goals for fun, the kid. You've got to give it to him. He's got a great attitude, and he's been a massive, massive part of us this season in big games, changed them, so... Massive shout out to List, and all the boys have been sensational. We've got the new boys Tommy and Bryce who come in this year from Knights, and in games like today they were just huge, absolutely huge. So that's the difference really. We've added to the team. We didn't take a backward step through the middle of the year, and it's paid off. So
the greatest goal scorer in NPL Victoria history, 104 goals now, and probably your favourite on grand final day today. Congratulations, Limo.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it, Josh. Thanks for everything, mate. And yeah, probably the favourite.
Avondale are the champions in 2023, and Liam Boland has signed off in style. Congratulations, mate.
Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
I've got Aiden Bryce coming in as well. Coming in, mate. Congratulations. Stand-in captain today, and we were afraid you were going to have to don the gloves there for a second.
Look, mate, when Manos went down, he put his body on the line, but when he went down, if I got asked to put the gloves on, mate, I was throwing them on, for sure.
We had some insight. Someone messaged me and said you used to don the gloves at Knights training back in the day. I thought you were pretty handy. You would have stepped up?
After training, and I used to jump in, and everyone used to take pens and used to dive around. So if it had to happen, mate, I would have done it for the team.
Well, man of the match today, Jimmy Rooney medalist. How does that feel?
Look, mate, first year here, unreal team. A bunch of superstars out there today, so I just done my job. Glad I got the medal, but this one's all about the team, mate.
And such a big game against an opponent who brought a lot of fans and put you under a lot of pressure in the start of both halves, really, especially that first 20 minutes. You cleared one off the line.
Yeah, they're always strong at the start of the game and stuff. They play a real direct footy, and the one off the line, I didn't clear that, just smacked me dead in the face. But look, I stopped the goal and we moved on from it. But yeah, like credit to South Melbourne, mate. They kept us on the back foot every now and then. But when we got the ball down and started playing, mate, we were terrific.
Could you have imagined three sweeter strikes than Xander, Limo, Liston? Top draw, all three of them. And then Zinni snuck one in as well.
Look, don't get me started. Like I said, mate, team of superstars. When we got a good front line, mate, we broke the goals record this year for that reason as well. Like a lot of good goal scorers, but man, when they come off the boot and go in, mate, I go crazy. They're incredible.
Well, he's added some steel at the back this season. Aiden Bryce is your 2023 Jimmy Rooney medalist. Congratulations, mate. That must feel really sweet.
Oh, mate, it's beautiful. I'm going to take the girlfriend and the family back to the Club, mate, drink with the boys and then party on through tomorrow, so it should be good.
Enjoy it. Aiden Bryce is a champion. So are Avondale. We'll sign off here from the Olympic Village. The final score, Avondale 4, South Melbourne 0.